and the back judge is Merle Robinson. But getting back to what we were talking about, how this is a trend that this Portland Steel team has kind of come into their own a little bit this season and are trying to salvage a much better second half than the way the first half began.
Yeah, my point was if you're the Arizona Rattlers, you want to try to nullify that as quickly as possible. The fact is that since 2012, the Snake Pit has been the most difficult place to play, hosting a record of 42 wins and 4 losses. And last time that we did a game together against the LA Kiss, right in this very arena, we watched LA kind of go punch for punch with them until the end. And that gave them a lot of hope and also gave the Rattlers a little fits at times. I know that Coach Guy wants to get a substantial lead and really take advantage of it. Wants to have his defense come alive because he's playing with a lot of new bodies, so he's got to experiment. The best way to experiment is with an offensive scoring cushion. Yeah. And the best way to do that is to take advantage. Now, unfortunately for the Arizona Rattlers, they're going up for one of the best defenses in the league tonight.
And Lincoln, you mentioned coming back to the Snake Pit. This is a Rattlers team that has gone 7-3, having played 7 of their first 10 games on the road.
Right.
They have a stretch here that's a little bit more favorable. They're going to be playing 5 games at home to close out the season starting tonight. And it's amazing what a little home cooking can do with some momentum going into the playoffs.
We're right. You're right as rain, my friend, because last week they took care of business against the Cleveland Gladiators. And then again, LA and Portland are coming up as like tonight. They got to take care of business again.
So as mentioned, the Portland Steel will return to and be on offense to start this game. Alex Zendejas to kick things off for the Arizona Rattlers. Had a solid season, 51 extra points made on the year. He'll be kicking off to Arnes Ickner for the Portland Steel. A Steel team trying to win their second in a row after their first win of the season last week against the Tampa Bay Storm. And
what is it with this Zendejas family? All they do is make kickers,
all
right?
They do, yeah. And I was just telling you before the top of the broadcast, the next coming of Zendejas, which you know there's more coming, went up to Oregon, coincidentally, as Alex is playing against Portland. His little brother, I believe, Christian, was at the Oregon Ducks kicking competition or kicking camp, and he won it.
There you go.
He won it representing Arizona. So I'm guessing the Zendejas family wants to make it 2-0 over the state of Oregon here tonight.
You know, it kind of reminds me of the old folk tales about the trampoline families of the circus, how they keep everything going and they keep everything with family. That's what the Zendejas family do. They just make kickers.
It's genetic. You can't help it. That. You can't help it.
And there's a lot of longevity in kickers in any league, so they're invaluable.
And what's cool is Alex is actually a part of the Perry High School, at least it was last year, the Perry High School coaching staff where his little brother Christian plays. So he's able to coach his little brother while the off season, and he's kicking for the Arizona Rattlers during the season.
Well, if you could teach anybody to kick, you could teach and kick well. You could teach them a life in football because they can do it for as long as they want to or able to.
And we saw Alex kick a 41-yard field goal during pregame for the Arena League with a smaller margin for error with those uprights.
And then the open field. That's exactly
easy.
right. It's not an easy task by any stretch of the imagination.
So again, Zendejas is ready to set to kick it away. Ickner is back to receive as we're ready to roll here from downtown Phoenix. Between two teams battling in the division, playing for the third and final time. We are underway. The kick is away, and that goes off the crossbar, which is always a problem. It's picked up and barely taken out of the end zone by Christian Wise. He's able to spin his way to about the 5-yard line, but that could have been dangerous. A great kickoff right there for Zendejas.
You know, one of the hardest things for kickers to do in this league is to use the bar to your advantage. Because the oblong shape of the football and, of course, the crossbar, it's always difficult to be able to totally see how that ball is going to bounce, which way it's going to bounce. And as you mentioned, my friend, it's a live ball, so it's up for anybody. So,
again, the quarterback, Shane Austin, who's really picked it up of late for Portland, and he'll try to keep it going here tonight. A little pass out to the flats. That goes to Tom Gilson. Very short, minimal game. That might be just a routine play to get yourselves into rhythm to get things started, right?
Yeah, you're right about that. A lot of times in all games, you know, coaches will call some makeable passes, easy passes, quick passes. Test the defense, make sure they're being disciplined. See if you can get something, something on a breakaway or a missed tackle.
That's Lincoln Kennedy. I'm Jared Cohen here from downtown Phoenix. Portland in their white uniforms with blue pants and silver helmets. Rattlers in their blue and copper with copper helmets. Austin's going to air it out on second down. Has a man downfield. Through the hands and incomplete. Intended for Jamar Howard, and that had 6 written all over it if he was able to haul it in.
It's things like that the reason why you're 1-8. The fact is, let's call it like it is. You have a wide open corner route in the open field, and you drop the ball. It goes right through your hands. It wasn't defended, wasn't touched by Kellum, who's coming back. Yeah, but he's got to get up to speed in this game because he's probably been sitting on the couch for the last 4 to 6 weeks.
You think that's orchestrated right there in their first?
Oh, without a doubt. You want to try him. You're going to try him, and more importantly, here's the thing: Howard's got to catch that ball.
Instead of him catching it in a touchdown, it's 3rd and 9 for Portland. Austin's going to pump fake. He's going to air it out again. Gilson downfield, and he makes that catch over the shoulder, and he was not hit down. Keith Brown will then drive him out of bounds just shy of the end. So, no, they're going to call it a touchdown. So the Portland Steel have come in on their 4th play of the game, a 43-yard touchdown.
2 out of the 3 plays there, the Arizona Rattlers were caught in cat defense. Hey, you cover that cat, I cover this cat. Man-to-man is one of the hardest, as I explained to you many times, especially in this game, one of the hardest defenses to consistently play because it's just too much field. And you saw right there, a well-timed ball, a little push-off by the receiver, gives him a little extra space, touchdown.
So now Ernesto Lacayo comes in for the extra point. The snap is good. The kick is through. So with 12:28 left here in the opening quarter, the Portland Steel strike first, and they lead it 7-0. You're streaming Arizona Rattlers and Portland Steel AFL football.
Foundation in the East Valley.
.28 left here in the opening quarter. The Arizona Rattlers trail the Portland Steel 7-0 after the Steel connect for a 43-yard touchdown from Shane Austin to Tom Gilson. And how about them making a little statement early, going deep on 2 plays, connecting on one of them that goes for 6.
Well, 2 veterans, Keith Brown as well as Jeremy Kellum, were beaten on the particular plays. If Howard, the Steel receiver, would have caught the first one, it would have been in one less play of that scoring drive. So, they've got this work. Defense has got this work cut out for them because Austin and the Steel offensively are playing a lot better.
Lacayo kicks it off. Amos takes it off the net. Looking move up the field. He breaks the tackle, and he's got some momentum moving up the field. Crosses the 20, driven into the boards, just shy of midfield. But Amos making some things happen on the kick return, and the Rattlers with some good field position on their first offensive possession of the game.
I really like the audacity of showing some spunk after a touchdown, giving up a drive on defense, coming out with special teams and kind of establishing a presence real early with a nice return back to midfield to put it back in favorable position for your offense.
At quarterback, Nick Davila having yet another phenomenal season for the Arizona Rattlers. And how about this stat? 7 games to this point going into tonight against the Portland Steel. 53 touchdowns, 2 picks. And he's back to throw on first down from the pocket. Over the middle, it's incomplete. There might have been a little contact early. That's what the fans are asking for, but it is no dice to Chase DeAtter on first down.
Jared, that right there is a timing route to DeAtter. And the thing is that when you run a hitch route in the arena football, you have to get the ball to him right away because the hitch route is seen, the defender closes, and that time the defender close might be there a little too early, but Davila wishes he had just a little bit more time to get it there sooner.
So it'll be 2nd and 10, Rattlers right at midfield, trailing 7-0 here with 11:15 left here in the first quarter. It's DeAtter in high motion. There's trips to the right. Davila, he'll step to his left, fire back the other way, and he finds Maurice Purify down at the 2-yard line. Nice pass across the field from Davila to Purify, and it's 1st and goal, Rattlers.
In order to run a double move in this league, you've got to have time. The big boys up front give Davila space, and Purify does the rest. Against that cat defense, a double move is very hard to defend. Purify uses his body as well as to shield the man, get that ball in, and also get some extra yards after the catch.
And the Latin laser, full-on laser effect right there. That was a laser beam to Purify across the field to put the Rattlers in the red zone. There's a little pitch to Michael Benson, and he's wrapped up for maybe a loss on the play. A nice job, nice penetration from the Steel defense.
You know, one of the hardest things to do in this league is red zone offense. A condensed field, you've got the bars on the backside of the end zone, not a whole lot of space to play as well as to throw the ball or for those receivers to run routes. A lot of times Coach Guy and the offensive coordinators in this league will call some runs just to keep the defense honest and make sure they're paying discipline and paying attention to their responsibilities.
It was the nose tackle Brandon Cisse that shot through the offensive line to make the play. It's trips for Davila. He's going to throw back corner of the end zone. Caught by Rod Ritzer for the Arizona Rattlers touchdown, and they answer on possession number 1.
That right there is a little too easy. I know that the Portland still wish that their jack backer, number 20, Bryce Pila, would back up a little bit more, come out of the box once he sees the direction of the quarterback to be able to negate that play, because really you can't cover a crossing route in the back of the end zone without it.
4 touchdowns last week for Rod Windsor in a win at Cleveland, and he gets the first one of the day here today for the Arizona Rattlers. And Alex Zendejas comes in for his first extra point attempt of the night. Shane Boyd there on the hold. And the snap is good, the kick is up, and it is through. So with 9:14 left here in the opening quarter, we're deadlocked at 7, and the Steel will go back on offense when we return. That's Lincoln, I'm Jared. You're streaming Arena League football action.
Ninth man, it's time to march down 2 lucky Rattlers fans to the best seats in the house in tonight's Able Funeral Services seat upgrade. Please welcome the Rat Pack as they upgrade Chris and Terry to sweet seats in section 102, row 2. Enjoy the game and the new view, courtesy of Able Funeral. Time to announce tonight's Fractured Prune Donuts Lucky Rose of the game. Stryker and the Rat Pack have hot, fresh donuts from Fractured Prune for the lucky fans seated in section 112, row 24, and section 202, row 2. Congratulations, and ninth man, don't forget to visit Fractured Prune Donuts tonight, located outside of section 102 for the best tasting donuts in town.
Hey, ninth man, time for you to rise for your Rattlers.
We've got 9:13 left here in the first quarter, and both teams have scored on their opening possessions. Arizona Rattlers just scoring here of late. Nick Davila to Rod Windsor for the touchdown to tie it at 7. And Lincoln, both offenses really having their ways through one possession. Now it's about defenses making adjustments here.
You know, that's exactly right. And the chore falls on the Arizona Rattler defense after tying up the score, as you mentioned, 7-all. To come back and maybe get a stop. That's the only way you can create a separation when you're trying to beat a good football team.
Zendejas kicks it away. He played it high off the net, and it's received by Ickner, and he's trying to make a play upfield. Nice special teams tackle right there. Chase DeAdder and Anthony Amos were in the area. And so, again, it'll be a long field for the Portland Steel. It didn't seem to matter the first time around. They made big plays down the field.
Well, I tell you what, Anthony Amos is going to get a big star in his helmet if they're able to win this game Monday, because he took a shot and still was able to come up with the tackle. Great heads-up play by him, and, of course, sacrificing his body.
So it'll be 2 to the left, 1 to the right of Shane Austin, who threw a touchdown pass to Gilson his last time out. There's a little quick slant completed over the middle to Jamar Howard, and that's just shy of a first down, maybe a gain of about 8 or 9 on the play.
Yeah, Howard's got a big body, and, of course, that time Shane Austin recognized that the Rattlers were trying to play a zone man matchup where they bumped the high motion, and then they were able to fall off and play zone and taking advantage of the slant route that was wide open.
2nd down and 2. They gave him 8 on that play with 8:20 left here in the first quarter. Shane Austin has completed 3 of his first 4 passes, and the 1 miss should have been a catch. So he's on point so far in this game. There's an out route to Gilson to midfield, driven out of bounds by Kellum, and enough for a Steel first down.
And if you're Kellum, you might allot that, especially coming off the high motion, having to cover a running man. You'll allow the short stuff and make sure that you cover and tackle with some sort of intensity, but because that stuff is only going to do dink and danks, you don't want to give up the big play or make it too easy for him.
1st down and 10 from their own 24-yard line, just shy of midfield. It'll be trips to the right with Shaw in high motion for Austin. They're going to throw a quick to Howard, another quick slant, and he gets across the 20-yard line to the 19 into Rattlers territory, but there's a flag down around the line of scrimmage.
It should be holding against number 79 of the Portland Steel, John Collins, and it should come back.
We'll go down to the field.
Holding offense. Number 79, 10-yard penalty, receives first down.
And those are the types of things when you're a team like the Portland Steel coming in with 1 win on the season and you've got a nice rhythm going, you're completing passes and moving the chains, holdings really hurt you.
Well, it's still a nuance of trying to find your way, and, of course, you're going up against a pretty darn good rush in the Arizona Rattlers. Sometimes, I remember as an offensive line, you don't want to do it, but yet you also don't want to give a free shot up on your quarterback.
Howard, the high motion man. Austin's got some time, and there's good coverage downfield, overthrown. Jeremy Kellum was there. Gilson, the intended receiver, and a nice catch by the man in the front row.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that he probably stole the ball from the people who were sitting there. He got up out of his seat, moved over across the row, and got in front of 2 other people that were sitting there. I wonder if they feel jaded about not getting catch the ball.
Oh, that ain't right.
You know, fans in arena ball know that if you're in the stands and the ball comes into the stands, it's yours to keep. So that's a nice little souvenir. That time the fan got up and moved out of his way in front of somebody else and took their ball.
It's a souvenir for fans, but you can't have fan-on-fan crime here.
Absolutely.
That's not
That's
right.
just wrong.
Screen out to Gilson. Gets close to the original line of scrimmage after the holding penalty. Taken down at about the 22-yard line. Tackled by Kellum.
It appears after that last play that there's, of course, they're giving the Arizona Rattlers defense secondary giving some cushion. They're not really pressing on the line because they don't want to be initially off the ball, so they're respecting. Conversely, the Steel are taking advantage of the short passes and screens and slants to try to take advantage of the cushion.
6:10 left in the first, 3rd down and 10, and it looks like McAllister moved early, and Coach Guy is not happy about it.
Yeah. On a 3rd down play, you don't want to give him any free yards, but I think Kellum's happy about it because Howard had him beat initially on the high motion coming off the ball.
Offside defense, 71. 5-yard penalty remains 3rd down.
And 31 was actually the culprit. That's Chris McAllister. So instead of 3rd and 12, we've got about 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 for the Portland Steel with just under 6 minutes left here in the first quarter. Game all tied up at 7. James Shaw, the man in high motion, which will make it trips to the left of Shane Austin. Austin's back to throw, 5-step drop, middle of the field, complete to Shaw, driven down by Jeremy Kellum, and that's going to be enough for a first down, and a big first down at that for the Portland Storm.
Jared, that right there is a timing play that you'll get the more that you're in practice, the more that you're in game speed. The fact that Kellum's been resting or trying other things and not playing football for the last since the season started, that type of timing play really hurts him because he just doesn't have that blast to be able to close on the ball as quickly as we've seen him do it in the past.
And it's the Portland Steel, not the Portland Storm, although they caused a storm on that play for a first down. Jamar Howard in high motion. Looking to the corner of the end zone to him. It's well overthrown. Kellum was there on the coverage. And, I'd love for Jeremy Kellum, man, but it seems like every play, that's where the ball's going. He's going to have to make some plays here today to make the Steel rethink throwing his way.
Well, if you're Shane Austin, you don't blame him, of course. You're going to go after somebody who just got off the couch because you're going to test him to see where he has his ability. That time, Kellum showed great resolve and great experience being able to read the route and come together and make it happen before it was called for a touchdown.
2nd down and 10, 4.5 minutes left. Sean high motion. Austin back to throw. Had pressure that time. Back corner of the end zone. It's incomplete. Howard thought he might have gotten held back there, but I think Austin was feeling the heat that time around. He had Burrell and McAllister coming around the edges.
Well, that was a classic case of Austin getting a little greedy. He had a sort of a quick drag route coming out of the motion that was wide open you could take to get some positive yards just to move it. But he wanted to go for the home run ball, so he was waiting and holding on for the end zone route to come open, thinking that the motion as well as the quick drag was going to confuse the defense.
3rd down and 10, just under 4 minutes left here in the first. It'll be Howard in high motion for Shane Austin. And again, the Rattlers jump too early.
Give them free yards.
Second time this drive, the Rattlers on a 3rd down have jumped off sides.
Defense, number 94, contact with an offensive lineman. That's a 5-yard penalty that remains 3rd down.
That was Tyree Glasper, the Mike linebacker. And that'll put him at the 5-yard line. It'll still be 3rd down, but 3rd down and very short.
Well, this is a classic case where the defensive feels a sense of urgency. They're trying to get off and make a play. They want to negate or get a stop. They're a little antsy, but you've got to be disciplined. You've got to hold your water because a good quarterback is always going to try you, especially at home. Most teams are comfortable when they're at home.
And excuse me, that'll make it 3rd down and goal from the 5 instead of from the 10. Austin, throw a little too strong, intended for Howard. And the pressure of the Rattlers is starting to get to Austin a little bit in the latter stages of this drive.
I remember playing with the Tampa Bay Storm, how Coach Ewert, who was my offensive line coach, said, it's really hard to cut guys in this league because the quarterback is such a close proximity to the offensive line. That time, the Portland Steel offensive lineman cut him down because Shane Austin had a quick hitch route that he was trying to go to in the end zone. And by that happening, the defensive guys are falling around your legs, especially when they come up over it.
There's a flag down. Looks like a free play, and Howard was the intended receiver. No, it was Shaw that time at the goal line. Austin's pass is incomplete, but we'll see what the flag is. If it's against the Steel, it'll be a turnover on downs.
Yeah, I think it was a legal formation.
Illegal formation offense. The fullback was too close to the quarterback. That penalty's declined. 1st and 10, Arizona.
So a turnover on downs for the Portland Steel. So the Rattlers get a stop. It's just like getting a turnover.
Without a doubt.
And a little bit of an explanation, Link. Why was the fullback too close to the quarterback, and why is that rule in place?
Well, the rule's in place to not give an unfair advantage to the fullback. He's got to be at a set distance from the quarterback and the offensive line. And so when you constrict that rule or you go against a rule, it's an infraction. And on 4th down, when it's an infraction, it's a turnover and down. So you have the ability to accept the play or get the turnover of the ball.
That's Lincoln Kennedy. I'm Jared Cohen. You're streaming AFL football.
He gets me live. The 9th man might be surprised to know I was born in Germany. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's it. 1 through 10. I can give you that.
I'm so proud of you. That's so great.
A hobby people would be surprised to learn about me is, well, I'm a game expert, Madden expert. So if you got some game, Baylor Bear 2009, challenge me.
Challenge accepted.
If I wasn't a football player, I would be a writer, like the next J.K. Rowling. My book would be about aliens, something like that. Something to keep the people interested.
You getting big, Jeff. Boy, what you been eating?
My favorite dance move is the Antonio Brown. I'm Chris McAllister. Thanks for going in the trenches.
Ninth man, it's time for tonight's Streets of New York pizza delivery. Please welcome Stryker and the Rat Pack as they deliver delicious Streets of New York pizza to the lucky Rattlers fans seated in Section 101, Row 10. Congratulations and enjoy your Streets of New York pizza.
We've got 2:52 left here in the first quarter, and the Rattlers defense gets the first stop of the game. They force the steal, the turnover on downs at the Rattlers 5-yard line. So Dick Davila and company take over on offense to try to take their first lead of the game. Jared Cohen and Lincoln Kennedy from Talking Stick Resort Arena, and there's a little post corner route to Rod Windsor right there that just is a little too high and incomplete on first down.
And you notice how still defender Sergio Gillum read the eyes of Davila. Noticed that he had his man that he was covering, had a short route, went back and put a hit on Windsor for that post corner route, as you were mentioning, to really disrupt it. And Davila's got to be better with his timing. When you know you're going to go there, you got to put it in a position where you keep your receiver safe as well.
Sergio Gillum, a former Rattler back in 2010, coming back to Phoenix here today to play his old team. There's a little quick slant to Maurice Purify, who hurdles a defender, crosses midfield, and driven down at the Steel 20-yard line. Big play on second down right there to Mo Purify, and a first down for the Rattlers.
Other than Purify's awareness in the open field and great route running skills, I like the fact that he's really secure with the ball. If you watch at the end of this play, Dexter Davis, number 11, the Jack linebacker, is coming in there trying to strip it. Look how quickly Purify wrapped up that ball and used his strength to keep it from being a fumble.
Dexter Davis from Friends University.
That's right.
Friends University in Kentucky. There's a ball to the back of the end zone to Purify from Davila, incomplete, and it'll be second down. But I had to do a little research there, Lincoln. Friends University in Kentucky. Dexter Davis was a standout out there. He is the first professional football player that I've heard of from Friends.
Well, see, I first thought you were playing a little joke when you showed me in the bio. I thought it might have been, how some of the guys want to make mockery of where they went to school, or just throw something out there. I never heard of Friends University, so I always love learning something new every day. So thanks, brother.
Yeah, I thought at first when I saw that it was maybe apart from his bio that ended up going under his college. Maybe he liked the TV show back in the day or something. But it was his college. There's a connection right there from Davila to Purify again, who breaks the tackle and walks in for a touchdown.
Little interesting concept that time, because it looked like a double move again by Purify and the other receivers. Watch Davila put a little hitch. You didn't see it back there on that replay, but then Purify's wide open, of course, breaks the tackle, does all the rest from the open field.
So Maurice Purify, they're bringing the gang back. Maurice Purify last season was with the San Jose SaberCats. He comes back to the Rattlers this season. We thought Kellum wasn't coming back. We thought Marquise Floyd wasn't coming back. All of them are back after they won an Arena Bowl championship together, and there's Purify getting the second touchdown of the day for the Rattlers. And there's Zendejas in for the extra point. It's good. With 5 seconds left here in the first quarter, the Rattlers take their first lead of the game. They lead the Portland Steel 14-7. We'll keep it right here, Lincoln. How about that drive? A lot of Maurice Purify on that drive.
Without a doubt. Maurice, I think talking with Nick Davila probably has an advantage that Davila is able to pick up on. And more importantly, some of the double moves I've seen have been working to perfection. Here's the thing. If you're Purify, you're Windsor, or you're Kellum, this isn't a bad place to play. You know the coach guy. You know what type of coach he is. You know what type of team they're going to put field. And a 5-time world champion, Arena Bowl champion, Arizona Rattlers have got a good team, and they've got themselves in a good position. Right now, it's not a bad place to play. You might as well play on a winning team rather than a losing team, or in some cases, like we're talking about, non-existent teams anymore.
That's right. That's definitely right. 3 catches for 69 yards and a touchdown already in this game. Most of it was on that last drive for Maurice Purify. And now if you're the Portland Storm, you had some good momentum going. You were moving the ball well. You weren't able to convert as you got closer to the end zone. You got to have to really keep that momentum going this possession, or else this game could get away from you in a hurry.
Well, that's exactly right. And the thing is that the Portland's got to be able to respond. They got to come back and respond and still go neck for neck, because you got a lot of time. You got a lot of game football still left to play. You can't let that advantage get too big to where it's harder to come back from.
Arness Ickner is back to receive. In fact, they've actually moved him up. Instead, they're going to put back Christian Wise to receive the kick. Alex Zendejas set to kick it away. This should be the last play here of the first quarter, as there's 5 seconds left. Zendejas kicks it away. It's going to go off the right net, high off the net, played by Wise. Wise going to cut it back upfield. Time expires, and he's driven down at about the 8-yard line by Anthony Amos, who's been a nice little special team warrior here early in this game. And we've played one here from downtown Phoenix. It's the Rattlers on top of the Portland Steel after one 14-7. You're streaming AFL football.
Please welcome to the field the AFL's hottest dancers, the Arizona Rattlers Sidewinders. The Arizona Rattlers.
On offense, and Lincoln, Austin did a nice job in the first quarter moving the ball, just couldn't finish deep in Rattlers territory, but for the most part, he's got to have some solid confidence with the way this offense has been able to move.
Well, it's a miscue that wasn't his fault in that fourth down, that turnover play, and you got to watch for the fullback because he's supposed to be 3 yards off the ball. Right now it looks a little close, so you could probably call it.
He's going to air it out. That ball's, though, underthrown, and Kellum had a read on it, but it goes out of bounds. Didn't know if that ball was deflected or was just a duck that time thrown by Austin. But you're right. That's a big fellow right there lined up just off to the side. That's Kevin Myers, and I don't know if it's just because of his size or it's because he's just too close to Austin.
Well, it's a combination of both. Here's the thing. When you're playing the fullback and you've got such a quick defense, you got to close the gap because you're responsible for the middle linebacker or the end, and so you're blocking. But the problem is the rules are you got to make sure that you're a certain distance back, and now he's checking with the ref to make sure.
6-6 and a wide open Gillum, and he'll walk in for this steal touchdown. Tom Gilson with the connection from Shane Austin, and another big touchdown connection between those two as they look to tie it up.
It seems like a record that's been broken, played over and over again. Coach Guy has had a miscommunication in the defensive backfield time and time again. And this time we might have a little extracurricular activity down there because it looks like we got another penalty.
Yeah, there is a flag down. We'll go down to the field.
After the play unsportsmanlike conduct, number 72, Arizona. That penalty will be enforced on the first play after the kickoff. The touchdown is good.
Actually, it's against number 32, Damian Burrell. I saw him going down there jaw-dropping with the referee, and that's a no-no. You know, the referees don't like to be talked to. You can't be telling them how you feel, even after a bad play.
So it's Ernesto Lacayo in for the extra point. The snap is basically dribbled in, but they still connect with the field goal. And then Burrell connected with, I believe, the kicker or the holder.
It's going to be a holding against number 66, Deverett Gallatin.
Number 66, 10-yard penalty. Replay the try.
Burrell used a real fast, a quick move to get around the offensive player of Portland, Gallatin, and Gallatin got called holding. Instead of moving his feet, he reached out there and grabbed Burrell as he was going around.
So instead, that'll move the ball back to the 13-yard line, which will make it about a 21-yard field goal extra point attempt.
Make it a little bit more difficult
for Ernesto Lacayo to try to tie this thing up. Snap is high that time. The kick is up, and it's no good. So the mistake could prove to be costly later on, and instead of it being tied up, it's 14-13 Rattlers over the Steel with 13:51 left here in the second quarter. You're streaming AFL football.
Your Arizona Rattlers return to the Ak-Chin Indian Community Field and the Snake Pit Friday, June 17th, taking on the Philadelphia Soul in a 7 p.m. kickoff. For tickets, stop by the Talking Stick Resort Arena box office, go to azrattlers.com, or call 602-514-TDTD. Arizona Rattlers football, strike as one. All right, Ninth Man, it's free T-shirt time for the best fans in arena football. Compliments of Ak-Chin Southern Dunes Golf Club. You know how to get one. Make some noise! Ninth Man, the fun continues after tonight's game at Marley's, the Rattlers post-game party headquarters. Located just a touchdown throw away from the Talking Stick Resort Arena at 2nd Street, just north of Washington. Marley's is your official Rattlers post-game party headquarters.
13:51 left in the first half. The Steel were able to get another big touchdown to Gilson. Can't convert on the extra point, so it's a 14-13 advantage for the Rattlers. Lacayo set to kick it away. Amos back to receive. And the kick is away. It's going to be high off the net to the left. Amos has a head of steam this time and a blocker in front of him. Crosses midfield. He's going to take it all the way back. Anthony Amos, a kick return for a touchdown.
Again, Anthony Amos answered the call after a touchdown scored by the opposing team's offense. The first kickoff return he had earlier tonight, he put it back midfield, but this time he had not only a head of steam, but a great hole given to him by his fellow Rattler players. And, of course, Windsor, not the best blocked, if you will, but you know what, just getting away. When you have that much speed and this much skill, you leave it up to speed to do the rest. Great return by Amos that time.
A special team star here, not just on kick returns, but also on kickoffs.
Kick coverage, exactly.
He has 2 special teams tackles. So he's been a star so far in this game for the Arizona Rattlers. And now it's Alex Zendejas in for the extra point. Shane Boyd, the holder. The snap is down, the kick is up, and it's just off the mark. Extra point, no good for Zendejas. So with 12:53 left, 20-13, Rattlers on top of the Steel. You're streaming Arizona Rattlers football.
In the East Valley. Ninth Man, it's time for the mascot relay race. The rules are simple. We've split the mascot into 2 relay race teams. Each team member will run 25 yards and hand the football off to the next runner. The first team to go 100 yards from end zone to end zone and then back will win the race. Our 2 teams. On Team 1, we've got Big Red, Howler, Spirit, and Thunder. And on Team 2, Striker, Gorilla, Scorch, and Sparky. On your mark, get set, go! And we've got a winner. Team 2, Striker Gorillas.
To make it 20-13. That's Lincoln Kennedy. I'm Jared Cohen. And, you know, turnovers can really alter a game in the Arena League, but also special team scores. It's just can really alter the trajectory of a game when you have a situation like that. It's an automatic 6.
Well, Jared, it shows a true 3-phase game where you have offense, defense, and special teams playing a pivotal role. But equally so, you got to be able to finish the drive and get that extra point. Now that you're down, you're 7 away from tying it up.
Wise has to catch it on a bounce. He doesn't get across the goal line.
It's a touchback because the only thing in arena ball is you have to make it an effort to get out of the end zone. You can't just stand there. You can't down the ball. But if you're tackled in the end zone after making an effort to get out of it, it's still a touchback.
And the touchback will take him to the 5-yard line. We'll go down to the field.
Down against 32 of Arizona for unsportsmanlike conduct. 10 yards are added to the end of the run. First down.
So the unsportsmanlike conduct after the Gilson touchdown.
Yeah, Damian Burrell, it was assessed on
a few plays ago.
Well, yeah, but you also had a special teams play, so you can't assess it. You got to go for the first offensive play, and that's where it is right now.
And that ball on that kickoff, not played great off the net by Christian Wise. Instead, he has to wait for it on a bounce, which is a pretty helpless feeling when that ball's coming down at you pretty slow. Wasn't able to get out of the end zone, but because of that Burrell penalty, it's 1st and 10 Steel from their own 12-yard line. And it's going to be trips to the right of Shane Austin here on first down. Back to throw, 3-step drop, middle of the field, connects, complete. That's Jared Perry to the Rattlers 20-yard line. Perry, a former Rattler, played with them in 2013 and also again last year in 2015. There's a penalty down at the end of that play.
Illegal formation defense, number 97, the defensive end, was outside the wide offensive lineman. That penalty's declined. First down.
Please, Lincoln.
Well, in arena ball, you have to line up as defensive player, defensive tackle, defensive nose guard. You have to line up on the man that's over you. You cannot line up further outside the shoulder. So you have to line up head up, or the outside shoulder is the furthest you can line up on the opposing offensive player.
And that was on Leon Mackey out of Texas Tech. So it's 1st and 10 Steel from the Rattlers 20-yard line. They're going to dump it off to the tight end, the big fella, 66, Deverick Gallington. And it's not easy to bring that fella down. A solid gain on first down of about 6.
Well, McAllister read it, but just a tad too late. He realized that after he beat Dexter that he was free, and then saw the quarterback's eyes and knew that it was going to be a play to the tight end. He's just got to read that defense read that play off a little bit sooner in order to negate it, possibly get a turnover. I
thought Gallington gained a little bit more. They credit him with just 3 yards on that play, so it's 2nd and 7 for the Steel. There's a quick throw out to Howard and a nice shoestring tackle by K.J. Morton. The young defensive back showing some prowess right there to allow a short gain.
Great read by the young man, and more importantly, great closing speed to negate a big gain. That's really good for the defense. If you're going to get those short danks, that's what you got to do. close and make the tackle immediately. Don't give them any yards after the catch.
So another short gain, that one of just 1 yard. 3rd down and 6, 10:45 left here in the first half. 20-13, Rattlers on top of the steal here from Phoenix. Back to throw, Austin, a strike to the end zone. There was some contact and overthrown, incomplete, intended for Jared Perry.
That time Kellen played as well as you can. He held his ground. He's entitled to the space that he possesses, and Perry really pressed him, ran into the man, and tried to break the route. Austin tried to throw it just a tad too early. If he would have pulled back just a little bit, it might have been a play either player out there could have made.
And the steal right now running the risk of turning it over on downs on consecutive possessions for the second time today. It's going to be trips to the left of Shane Austin. High motion man Perry. 3-step drop, looking Perry, and it's knocked away by Arkeith Brown. Good defense right there. Turnover on downs for the Portland Steel.
You know what Austin did wrong there at the quarterback of the steal? He eyeballed Perry. And, of course, Arkeith got away with a little bit of a grab of the back of the jersey, but the refs are letting him play. That time Arkeith played the eyes of Austin and went through or ran around Perry to negate that ball from coming in for a touchdown.
So a turnover on downs for the Steel for the second time in 4 possessions, and now Nick Davila and company will return to the field for the first time in a while. The Rattlers, last time they touched the ball, had a kick return for 6 by Anthony Amos, who is now in the game on offense. They want to keep his momentum of playing well in there. And there's Davila, throws to a wide open Rod Windsor across midfield and taken down in Steel territory at the 15-yard line. Windsor was wide open downfield.
You know what, and as I said before, in order to make that work, look at the protection his offensive line offered. Look at the cavity, the cup that they provided. He had enough time for Davila to survey all 3 of his receivers downfield and come back to Windsor for that catch.
So it's 1st and 10, Rattlers from the Steel 14-yard line.
I meant Purify. I'm sorry. I said Windsor, but I meant Purify to come back for that catch.
2 to the left, 1 to the right. Windsor in high motion. He moves it into trips. He's in the flats, and that's where Davila is going to connect with him. He's got a head of steam going for 6. Is he in? Touchdown! Rod Windsor, touchdown number 2 on the night to make it 26-13 Rattlers.
Well, you know what? As we sit there and wait for the cannon to come, you have to remember that's one play that we saw the Steel trying to run too. It's basically like a clear out where the motion comes down and he glides the backside of the quarterback going to the other side of high motion. He's already got momentum. If you just take the defense what the defense gives you because the other 2 receivers are clearing out the defenders, it could be a big play, and that's what happened that time.
6 touchdowns in the last 2, basically in the last 3 halves for Rod Windsor. With 8:10 left here in the first half. Alex Zendejas in for the extra point. Shane Boyd the hold. The snap is good. The kick is up, and this time it's through for Alex Zendejas. 8:03 left here in the first half. It's all Rattlers right now. They lead it 27-13. You're streaming Arena League action.
Ninth man, tonight is a great night to stop by the team shop to pick up the Rattlers item of the game. Tonight, it's pewter houseware items. So stop by the team shop, the place to shop for all the latest and greatest in Rattlers merchandise.
How you wanna feel, baby? What you wanna know? Just pour another drink, baby. Come on, pour a little more. I treat you like a real lady. I'll keep you out the cold. I'll give you all my time, baby. You know.
All right, ninth man, it's time for a scratcher's delivery from the Arizona Lottery. If you'd like a ticket, stand up now and make some noise.
Ready to move now. Let's go.
Be sure to redeem your voucher by the end of the 3rd quarter at the Arizona Lottery kiosk outside section 120. Celebrate 35 years of giving with the Arizona Lottery. Play for second chance prizes on all 35th anniversary tickets. Get more info at azlottery.com.
Hey, ninth man, it's time to rise for your Rattlers.
27-13, 8:03 left in the first half. The Arizona Rattlers connect on another touchdown, and another one of many from Nick Davila to Rod Windsor to make it 27-13. Alex Indejas will kick it away. Again, it's Christian Wise back to receive for the steal. And the steal, as we're inching closer and closer to halftime, the Rattlers get the ball to start the second half, so now you start to think of the chess match that comes at the end of halves. Wise misplays that one off the net. He collects it. Now he's going to run up the sideline, and Purify is there along with, who was that? Is that Mackey? To drive him out of bounds.
Yeah. Well, you're right. You know, if you're the steal, you want to try to score quickly, get the ball back, possibly line up for an onside kick, maybe do some strategy. But the important thing is you got to score, because you got to keep the score close to as close to possible. And more importantly, you got to convert those third and fourth downs. You can't allow those turnovers to happen on the field. But Austin's got to be careful, because he's been eyeballing his receivers, and I've been watching the reaction out of the defensive backfield of Rattlers. They're starting to close in on a few of those routes a little bit more.
To be honest, this is the end of the field that's been more dangerous for the steal, where the deep ball has been susceptible for the Rattlers in this game. And there's a quick slant to Howard, and he gets popped by K.J. Morton. And you got to love the intensity that Morton's playing with so far here tonight. You can tell the rookie is growing with confidence each time we see him.
Well, he's making great open field tackles, Jared, and more importantly, playing that sort of, it's almost like an outside backer. He's playing the short side of the field and the wide side of the field, and that time, reading the eyes of Shane Austin, knowing that he was going to that quick hitch, he closed and made a great open field tackle.
He left his man to make that tackle.
Absolutely.
So good awareness right there from Morton. Back to throw is Austin. There's the deep ball. He's looking for Gilson once again, and it's caught by Gilson for the touchdown, his third of the game. All of them have come from deep balls that were thrown on the steal end of the field.
Well, you know, Shane Austin put a great ball, and what a great double move by Gilson that time. Gilson, I should say. He came out, he went to the out route and showed like he was going to go to the sideline, and then turned up the sideline, and they're testing Kellum. Kellum's fresh off of a couch. I don't blame them. He's a savvy veteran, but he's got to get back into football shape, and that, my friend, takes time.
Ernesto Lacayo in for the extra point. He is made one, missed one so far in this game. The snap is good, the kick is up, and one's off the upright once again. So Lacayo has missed two now in this game.
Well, maybe he saw flashes of Tyson, who came in there sort of unabated and almost came away with a block. Maybe the kicker just saw him out of the corner of his eyes and pulled that kick over to the left a little too much.
But the Steel get points on the board. They trail it 27-19.
Only at Half Moon Sports Grill, located on 21st Street and Highland. Just under 6 minutes left here in the first half. The Steel put 6 more on the board
on the third touchdown of the game from Shane Austin to Tom Gilson. But another missed extra point finds a kind of a crooked number there, Lincoln, with just 19. Lacayo is there for the kickoff. Anthony Amos, who's been a playmaker here today, back to receive. He returned it for 6 last time out. And there's the kickoff to Amos. He plays it off the net, trying to pick up some speed again, has some blocks, trying to dance upfield. And he's taken down at about the 10-yard line. Will Davila and company will return to the field.
You know, after that last drive, of course, as you mentioned, you always got to play for the onside kick, especially with the score being in the Arizona Rattler favor. But Amos did a great job of collecting the ball off the net and getting some positive yards, getting out with without their heels being on the end zone, and to allow Davila and this offense to go to work.
Nick Davila and the offense hasn't really even been on the field very much. It's been dominated by the steal on offense, plus you add that kick return. It hasn't been a lot, but when they have been out there, they've made quite the impact. Davila, 6 of 9 throwing. He throws here on first down, and it's a strike to Chase DeAtter across the 20-yard line. It takes 3 Steel defenders to finally bring him down, and that's going to be enough for a first down.
You know, great awareness by Davila because he audible to that hitch route by DeAtter. Right, I noticed him right before the snap of the play, sort of look over to the sideline, survey the defense, and, of course, give the signal for the hitch route to DeAtter, and he changed his route, took advantage of really what the defense was giving him for a nice chunk of yards.
13-yard pickup to DeAtter, gets to the Rattlers' own 23-yard line, moves the chains, 1st and 10, 4:45 left here in the first half. Davila back to throw, 5-step drop, finds Rod Windsor, who's driven into the boards, into Steel territory. He'll be out at the 16-yard line, and that's just enough for another Rattlers first down.
This right here plays into Coach Guy's strategy. See if he pulls back the reins maybe a little bit, maybe going with a run or a quick screen to try to keep the clock moving. The thing is, you want to get your defense a little bit of rest. They haven't been on the field a long time, but still, you want to try to take advantage of the rest, still moving the ball in the positive direction to keep that clock moving.
And you mentioned earlier with Austin, the way he was eyeing his receivers. Davila didn't look at Windsor until he threw that ball.
Yeah.
And there's that handoff right on cue, Lincoln, to Michael Benson to the 10-yard line. Wow. Were you recalling the plays from up here, my man? Wow.
I just tell you what, I like Coach Guy's strategy, and I've always paid attention to his philosophy, especially when he gets down in the plus side of the field, how he wants to take some time off the clock and keep going. So now this time they'll probably go with either a quick screen or because you don't want to get it too close and have a difficulty scoring, you still take your time with meticulously taking the ball down the field.
Well, this has been one of the nicest drives of the game thus far for the Rattlers. They've scored on each of them, but this one has been very well orchestrated. Trips to the right for Davila. He throws. There's Windsor on that hitch to the 3-yard line. What's next, Lincoln?
Well, now you might have a little flare route to the big man to the tight end. So I wouldn't be surprised about it. Right now, Coach Guy has the luxury of just reaching into his grab bag and getting a little bit of anything and calling it and having it work. So he can call anything and everything right now, but he's taking his time because that clock up there is still ticking. He wants to run it down as much as possible.
And there's 3 minutes left to be exact as Nick Davila enters the huddle. 27-19 Rattlers, 1st and goal from the 2. They send DeAtter in high motion. They hand it off to Benson. There's a flag down, and the Steel defense saw it coming all the way. No gain on the play, but we'll see what the flag is.
Yeah, it might be a legal procedure against the Rattlers.
Tackle by Davis and Wilson.
Or legal formation, I'm sorry. There's no legal procedure in the arena game.
Illegal shift offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
And you know what? More times than not, when you lose 5 yards after being at the 3, in the Arena League, it's not a horrible thing. It gives you more
it's not
space.
a horrible thing. But the thing is that your Coach Guy and your offense, what it does to you, what you don't want to do, stops the clock and then it starts over again. So it's not a bad thing to back up and give yourself some space, Jared, because it makes the little things a little bit easier, a little bit clearer for you to see. But, you don't want to have those miscues. And something as a legal shift, probably 2 men moving at the same time on that last play is something that the veterans don't normally do.
Davila's going to air it out, a little bit too overthrown. and the intended receiver was Rod Windsor. I'm waiting for that tight end flare out in the end zone. That sounded like a pretty cool play call to me.
Now, if you're the big man, if you talk about the big men that are in there playing, it might be a little too far because they probably won't have a hard time scoring. But I did notice on that last play, earlier in the game, Nick Dobla had a drag route in the back of the end zone, and Bryce Pila, the Jack linebacker, played it way too shallow. This time he remembered his error of his ways. He got in the right position and really made it difficult for Davila. Either play it off that back net or try a really tight window to get that pass into.
Trips to the left of Davila, and there's going to be, looks like a
some movement
false
on the
start.
offensive side, yeah.
Start offense. Number 81. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
It was Chase DeAdder that moved a little bit early on the outside, so that moves the Rattlers back even further. So 2 5-yard penalties since being first and goal from about the 3-yard line. They are now at the 12-yard line where it's second and goal.
Well, I guess Coach Guy might actually like it. I look at his body language. The fact is that he's ran an awful lot of time off the clock.
A lot of time.
And they're still in scoring position. They still have their way, with the Steel defense. But more importantly, this clock is still ticking, even though they're backing up and not really getting anywhere.
Yeah, there's 1:17 left before halftime. They get the ball to start the second half. Davila's going to throw it. DeAdder's there at the pylon. Touchdown, Rattlers. Chase DeAdder's first touchdown of the game. 4th of the game for the Rattlers. And they lead it 33-19.
Well, that time Chase DeAdder had a nice post route right behind the Jack linebacker, goes into it. Nick Davila sees him coming over, and right after he surveys the field.
Both teams have 3 timeouts remaining.
The 1-minute rule is what the referee explained that last time. But, not really eyeballing the receiver, but noticing him out of the corner of his eye, taking advantage of that post route, putting it right over the Jack linebacker for a touchdown. Great score.
So 4 offensive touchdowns and a kick return for the touchdown for a touchdown for the Rattlers in this game. Zendejas in for the extra point. The kick is up, and it's through. 34-19, Rattlers on top of the Steel with exactly 1 minute left.
1 minute to go, second quarter. It's your Rattlers.
And it looks like we'll keep it right here, Lincoln, right before halftime. This is a big possession for the Portland Steel right before the half. As mentioned, they don't get the ball to start the second half, so if there was ever a time to get a quick 6 up there, it would ideally be now.
Conversely, if you're the Arizona Rattlers and you're Coach Guy's defense, you're trying to encourage. They got to take home run shots. They got to get big chunks of yards. Even though you can still work down the field pretty quickly in the arena game, your defense has got to play better. There's been a few times there's been a miscommunication, especially that last touchdown by Gilson in the Steel. There was a miscommunication because Gilson was wide open. You know what I mean? So we don't want to have that happen too many times because it sets a bad precedent, leaves a bad taste in your mouth, even though you have the lead going into halftime.
The offense has been clicking for the Rattlers in this game. Obviously, it's a well-oiled machine, but is there something that is standing out or someone that is standing out that's really leading to this success that they've had to this point?
It's led by the front runner. You're in the game of football, you're nothing or you're everything with the quarterback. Nick Davila knows this game through and through. He knows Coach Guy's philosophy through and through, and he's got great chemistry with his receivers. The fact that he can trust them to be open, and he's not staring down guys like Shane Austin, so the defense doesn't get an edge. And also, an added part of that, a little cherry on the top, because I got to give some lines to the big boys up front. He's been clean all night.
Yes,
he hasn't been rattled, and even from a good defense who's able to get some sacks on the quarterback, they haven't really came close to him.
And I'm not even sure he's been knocked down even after a throw.
I haven't seen it if it happened.
There has been no pressure on him in this game that I could recall. And the Rattlers on top 34-19. The Steel, they've looked good when it came to the deep ball, but basically other than that, they've really struggled. This defense came in the number 1 defense in the league in terms of total defense, and right now they've got a puzzle they need to figure out here in this Arizona Rattlers offense.
Well, now they got to play from behind, as you mentioned, Jared. The fact is they got to score on offense, and they got to find a way to shut down the defense. They haven't been able to do it yet, and so far Davila and the Rattlers offensively have had their way.
Zendejas, he kicks an onside kick, and it's picked up by the Steel and down at the 5-yard line. What a gutsy call right there for Kevin Guy. Shaw was the one to recover it. They saw it coming the entire way. Hey, but you know what? The Steel have been really struggled on this end of the field to score. This is not a bad move by Kevin Guy.
Well, some of our listeners at home might be wondering why would Coach Guy with the lead go for an onside kick. Well, it's one, to keep the special teams, opposing special teams honest. But more importantly, it's also to use the clock to your advantage. If you're the Steel, you've got to move the ball forward or the clock continues to run.
And if they score quick, the Rattlers can have the ball once again.
That's exactly right.
Shaw's in high motion. There's a throw. It's deflected and almost intercepted. Austin's pass goes off the shoulder pad of Gilson. And
this is what the Rattlers do not want to see. Guys getting up slow.
KJ Morton and Jeremy Kellum are slow to get up.
Because of this condensed part of the field, Jarrett, it leaves the option of the defensive backs being extremely physical with the receivers. And that time, both Keith Brown were kind of instilling their way on the receivers.
And an incompletion stops the clock. Steel don't want the Rattlers to go back on offense before this half is over. And there's a touchdown. Austin connects to Jamar Howard. And a touchdown for the Portland Steel.
That time, they got a case of looking in the backfield just a little too much with the high motion coming out of the backfield and running sort of a drag route across the line. Both of the Rattler defenders thought that that's where they were going to go with the ball, and, of course, he throws it to Howard right in behind.
And that's a big score. It makes it 34-25 with 51 seconds left. Ernesto Lacayo in for the extra point. And now you have to wonder, are the Steel going to go for the onside kick now to allow the short field to maybe get the ball back?
Well, that's exactly right. You play the game, and who knows, you might return it. You might get the ball back yourself because you can't seem to make an extra point.
Another missed extra point for Ernesto Lacayo.
Yeah.
Third missed extra point of the game. 51 seconds left. The Rattlers on top by 9, 34-25, and yeah, you got to have that. It's a one-possession game right now.
Well, you need all the points you can get, right?
One-possession game. You just can't have that happen.
Yeah. So look and see if head coach Ron James of the Steel decides to come back and possibly go with an onside kick to do the same thing. Force the field, force the short field, give the ball back, and if the ball bounces a certain way and you get the kick, then it's a double plus because now you're back on offense to score with the opportunity to score again.
Yep. It's amazing. The chess match at the end of first halves never fails. It's an aspect of the Arena League that I just find fascinating. Because, in the NBA or for basketball, the finals are going on.
Yeah.
It's the last 2 minutes of a game that always seem to take 2 hours. It's the last minute of the first half of the Arena League football that seems like it takes a while because teams are really jockeying for good position before the start of the second half to try to make a run at a win.
The game was created to be as offensive-minded and scoring as possible. They want the high scores, the 75s and 69s. That's what they want in arena football. So the game was created and cultured towards that effect. The thing is that when you get in times like this, less than a minute, with the clock running versus the clock stopping, it becomes a chess match, and you have to use it to your advantage.
Lacayo set to kick it away, and I really think this thing is going to be an onside kick.
I think it's going to kick it deep because it's set back a little bit. Oh, that was wrong.
Onside kick. There's Purify that throws it and bats it out of bounds. Good heads-up play right there for Purify. That's a veteran move right there. There's a penalty down.
There was a penalty on the field. I don't know what the call was. I think it was offsides against the Steel. Well, a lot of times in an onside game, that's what happens. An onside kick, your guys will get a little too antsy and get offsides.
And a hat is thrown. There could have been some jawing there from a player that could lead to another penalty on the Steel if, in fact, both are on them. Officials are trying to figure out as we speak who and what the penalty is. There's 50 seconds left. It's 34-25 Rattlers. Let's go down to the field.
There are 2 fouls on the play, offsides on the kicking team. Illegal batting the ball forward on the receiving team. Those penalties will offset at the dead ball spot, 1st and 10, 1st and goal.
So when a player does bat it out of bounds, what are they supposed to do?
Supposed to go sideways or back. Can't go forward.
So that's what Purify did. He hit it.
Well, he was just batting it out of bounds. I don't know how, the thing is that when you have good blocking like he had, I would much rather have him come down with the ball, catch it, and come down with the ball. But in that instance, when you panic, the safest thing to do is just bat it down and, of course, take the penalty.
So a short field for the Rattlers. 1st and 10. Davila going to throw it out to DeAtter. 1 play, 1 strike, and a touchdown. Chase DeAtter's 2nd of the game. And with 45 seconds left, the Rattlers with another score before halftime. They lead it 40-25.
And, my friend, I'm really surprised that defensive back Shane Boyle didn't play it a lot tighter, especially with the space that Chase DeAtter had. The fact is, if you're the number 1 pass defense, that was way too easy.
Way too easy.
Unless you want to give it up and just try to get the ball back. I know coaches who do that strategy as well. Don't stop them. Just let them score. They're going to score. Get the ball back, and let's see what we can do. And line up and do it again. But it's still too easy.
So a 40 spot in the first half for the Arizona Rattlers. They lead it 40-25. Now Alex Sendejas in for the extra point. Shane Boyd the hold. As usual, the snap is good, the hold is good, and the kick is through. Once again for Alex Sendejas. 45 seconds left. 41-25. Rattlers on top of the steal. You're streaming.
Man, it's time to rise for your Rattlers.
Here we go, 9th man.
45 seconds left just before halftime. It's the Arizona Rattlers 41, the Portland Steel 25. And, hey, let's see if another onside kick. We've had a few already. We've had 2 scores in about 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's the great thing about arena ball. It happens very quickly, or it can at least.
And Sendejas will have another onside kick, but this one goes out of bounds.
You imagine as a kicker, if you look at the proximity, especially from our vantage point up here in the nest, you look at the kickers, where he's lining up, where you have to place the tee. You have to place it on the hash. You also talk about the shortness of field. You got to get a bounce in to make that ball, you're able to catch it under 10 yards. You got to get a bounce in, and you got to get a high enough to where it drops in the field of play. It's difficult.
That's not easy.
It's not easy, especially in the short game. But again, you concede this field position because it does 2 things. 1, it makes it a little bit tougher on the offense. They don't have as much field to play with. And 2, if they score, you get the ball back.
So it's 1st and 10 steal from the Rattlers 14-yard line. Austin's going to air it out, caught by Howard, and he's driven into the wall, and it's a touchdown. So the last 3 offensive plays run for either team have been passing touchdowns, and the Steel, to their credit, are going toe-to-toe with the Rattlers. That's Howard's 2nd touchdown of the game.
Yeah, making it very interesting, and here's the thing, is you get the ball back, but that time Austin Davis, Shane Austin, I should say. Shane Austin had Howard on a nice drag route across the end zone and put the ball right where he needed to be and gave Howard just enough room to come in. But here's the league. Look at that replay. Is that knee down before he crossed the ball?
That's pretty close. Very close. They're going to run a fake extra point. Duron Thomas, the former Oregon quarterback, tries to run it in, and he's short. So another failed conversion for the Portland Steel. Thomas almost got it in.
Yeah, guy came up close, but as you mentioned, fell short. And again, there's another Rattler player, Glasper, slow to get off the field. His helmet is off. He looks a little banged up. Oh, they're going to challenge it. Head coach of the Steel, Ron James, is going to challenge this play to see if his guy got in for that 2-point conversion.
And they have left 4 points off the board right now.
Field of the try short is being challenged by Portland. Plays under further review.
It's amazing, Link. It's the last about 12 seconds of this game has lasted 15, 20 minutes.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yep.
And let's keep it rolling with this play under review. Deron Thomas, a familiar name.
Yes.
Oregon
Duck. I think it's a good call. I don't think the ball's not even broke across the plane anyway. He's down.
Yeah, he's down.
Even from that angle right there, and the people at home, you get to see what the referee sees in their box as they rewind it and go forward. You look at where that ball, and of course where his knee touches down at, it's not even close. It's a good call on the field. He's short.
Yeah, it definitely looks like knee and elbow are going to be down here. I don't think you think his helmet had crossed.
No, that's exactly right. See,
right there, he is down, and it is short of the goal line.
Yeah,
so
the ball's got to cross the plane, the goal line, and of course you see the fan chiming in when they get their Instagram to show off what the big screen shows. But here's the thing: it's interesting because the play before to Howard, I know that it's after the fact and you can't go back and check it out, but I didn't think Howard scored. I thought Howard was down on the goal line.
It was close. Definitely right as he was hitting the pylon, it looked like that knee might have been down.
Yeah, but Howard shielded the ball from with his body, so the line judge, the back judge who was there to make the call, could only go off of his body movement. But I really thought that knee was down before he went across the goal line.
Well, let's go down to the field. Is it a 2-point conversion?
The ruling on the field of an extra point, no good, stands. Portland's charged with a timeout and a challenge.
Love the conviction.
Yes.
It stands.
Well, with this much to go, your Portland, it's not a bad try. They had 2 timeouts left. There was nothing wrong with trying it and seeing, but they do lose a challenge because they lost it.
And they're staying in this thing. There was a time there where it looked like this game might get away from them. They turn it over on downs twice in a row. The Rattlers return a kickoff for a touchdown. And, if there's not 4 missed extra point opportunities, we're looking at a one-possession game. Instead, it's 41-31, 38 seconds left.
10-point game, 38 seconds left in the first half. And we go back to the fact that Coach Guy, as well as Coach James for the steal, are using these onside kicks. The thing is you give them a short field, you try to get back, you try to be the last one that scores before you go into advantage, going to the halftime.
And let's give credit where credit's due. I mean, this is a Portland team. The first 2 times these 2 teams met, the first time they scored 28 points, the second time they scored 21.
Ouch.
In 4 full quarters. Right now they have 31 at just before halftime. So we mentioned that this is a much improved Portland Steel team coming in.
Look at the placement of the ball. Now, this is interesting. Watch how he kicks this ball.
I don't even know how it's staying up
The
like
placement
that.
is on the side. It's going to be a sort of a funky kick. Watch.
Whoa. Purify is there to recover it. Oh, sidewinding, weaving ball. Recovered by Purify at the 12-yard line.
It's people at home
He's
are
laughing.
probably of course. People at home is like, you don't see that too often. But people at home are wondering why. It's going to be an onside kick. You're going to kick it short, but you're hoping that maybe it's sort of an odd bounce. Maybe a player kicks it or whatever it is, or you have trouble fielding it. It's a different way of an onside kick. You don't see it that often because a lot of guys like to use the bounce. But you know what? Credit to Steele for trying new things.
Lincoln, that remind me of, when you're playing pool and you hit the cue ball funny and it goes a weird
that's
way?
Right, that's right.
That's kind of what that looked like.
That's what you're looking for.
Trips to the right of Nick Davila. That's Chase Diatta. They're going to pitch it out to Rod Windsor. He has a head of steam, crosses the 5, driven into the boards at about the 3-yard line. That'll stop the clock with 31 seconds left.
Again, it's a play where if you're going to play this chess match, you're going to go back and forth. You want to do what you can to keep them to score and try to be the last one to score before halftime.
And I don't think Coach Guy wanted him to be driven into the boards there. I think he wanted to run some clock, but that's the way it worked out.
Well, the main thing is that you maintain possession of the ball when you know the Steel players are coming in and trying to steal it away.
So it's 2nd down and 2 from the 4-yard line for the Rattlers.
Look for that tight end flare out. I think it's coming soon. The big man getting the ball.
Hand it off
to Benson.
Yeah, they hand it off to Benson.
The other big man.
Nice tackle right there. Dexter Davis Jr. trips him up. That'll keep the clock running. 3rd and goal, and Portland calls their second charge timeout.
Yeah. That's what you want to do. You want to force the other team to use their timeouts. to take sort of and sort of keep, and not sort of, but definitely keep the ball moving forward to keep that clock moving.
The next game for the Rattlers, and it should be a good one at home on June 17th. The Arizona Rattlers against the Philadelphia Soul. The Soul 8-2 on the season. Rattlers 7-3 currently. And in fact, the Philadelphia Soul moved to 9-2 on the year. They knocked off the LA Kiss at home today, 73-37.
Ouch.
So Philadelphia playing some good football. That should be a really, really good one next weekend here from the Snake Pit.
Philadelphia playing some good football. LA Kiss is still struggling, but with the current formation of teams and the alignment of teams, everybody's in the playoffs. So everyone still has a chance to make something happen if they can turn it on and get it and find out the formula.
And there's a good one going on right now between Orlando and Cleveland. Both teams fighting for positioning in the playoffs, and right now Orlando holds a 56-55 lead in the fourth quarter. So that one's coming down to the wire. 28 seconds left after the timeout. 3rd down and 1 from the 3-yard line for the Rattlers. I think this might be only the second time that they've had a 3rd down. There's a pitch to Windsor. Has first down yardage. He's down at the 1, but that'll keep the clock moving, and then Steele will call timeout.
Okay, use their final timeout. Good play, nice play there. And the details that the receivers, they can't block until the ball has been caught. And it's really hard when you've got press guys either to run them off with that short side of the field or make it seem like you're doing something. So because it'll be a called offensive pass interference if they block while the ball is in the air before the ball's thrown.
And that's interesting. That really puts a receiver in a tough spot because, you have guys that might check you at the line. You've got to just kind of keep your hands off of them because you have to wait till the ball is thrown.
Well, Nick Davila's got to be even more mindful of the fact that it's coming out of high motion. You've got to, if you throw the ball backwards as a screen, then it's like a run play. It's an extended run play. You can block down the field. But you've got to know with a high motion, get the snap, get it up, and get it out backwards. It's even more difficult. And right there, they caught it almost on the line, still backwards, so they're able to free up the blocking downfield.
1st and goal from the 1 for Davila and the Rattlers, and he's going to try to put it in himself. And he's down, though, doesn't get anywhere. Flying in at the end is 20, Bryce Pila. And now the Rattlers will call timeout with 10 seconds left.
Yeah, the rule is that if you stop for no gain or incomplete pass, the clock stops. But in this case, Davila did get a couple inches forward on the quarterback sneak, so the clock continued to run. Coach Guy wisely called the timeout to give his team and his offense a little bit more time to score.
So they've ran it to Benson. Davila's kept it himself. The running game hasn't been great for the Rattlers. The Steel have done a good job against it.
Yeah, but Jared, relatively speaking, a running game in arena ball is so difficult because you just don't have the power. It's man on man, and of course your offensive guys have got to win, but you just don't have the bodies to block because you've got a free guy no matter what you do on that defense that can make a play.
Let's do it.
2nd and goal from the 1, 10 seconds left in the first half. Rattlers lead at 41-31, and this is a huge stop for Portland if they can convert this with 10 seconds left. Rattlers will get the ball to start the second half. High motion man is Windsor. They run a screen, and how did Purify catch that? Touchdown, Rattlers!
It's a case where your receiver is taller than the defender. No offense, but Arnes Eichner is only 5'7", and he had his back that time to the quarterback. Didn't even see the ball coming out. You can't make a play when you don't see. Purify, who stands at what, my friend? Who is he standing at, like 6'2", I believe? I'm looking up his stats as we talk about it. He's 6'4", versus 5'7". The taller receiver should win.
Man, that's even an incredible catch. And on top of it, that was again, the Latin laser throwing laser. That one was going hard at Purify. Catches it beautifully with 2 guys draped all over him for the touchdown. Extra point is good for Zendejas. 7 seconds left here before halftime. Rattlers open up a 48-31 lead. We'll take one more break just before halftime. You're streaming AFL football. Just before halftime, and what a final minute of this first half it's been. We've seen 4 touchdowns. We've seen onside kicks.
Well, now this time you'll kick it long. 7 seconds left, you'll kick it long. You don't want to give them a short field.
And I'm sure Zendejas is excited for that. He likes to let it loose. He'll kick it away. Christian Wise back to receive for Portland. And there's the long kick for Zendejas that goes through the upright, so it won't even be played.
Touchback.
And there'll still be 7 seconds left for the Steel defense to work with, Steel offense to work with.
And if you're Coach Guy, you'll take it, but you actually want the ball to be played off the bar because you want him to catch it and try to run some time off the clock. Unfortunately, now you've got 7 seconds to play with, which in arena ball, you can actually get away with 2 plays, get it 2 plays off, depending on how the first one goes.
But the deep ball is what's worked for Portland in this game. 3 touchdowns in the first half for Tom Gilson. He has 6 catches for 135 yards in those 3 scores, the long one going from 43 yards out. And they'll try to put together one more of those here before halftime. Rattlers defensive secondary playing pretty far back.
Their version of a prevent. It's a legal shift. Or delay a game, I should say.
They didn't get the ball off on time.
Offense. Half the distance to the goal remains first down.
So that'll put the Steel at the 2.5-yard line. Still 7 seconds left.
Now, interesting. Look, they've got Marquise Floyd as the jack linebacker. The reason why they're doing it with this is their version of a dime defense because Marquise is going to play sideline to sideline as a jack linebacker at that 5-yard distance.
They do a quick out, and how about the fan taking it away from Jamar Howard?
That's right. You got to catch the ball, Howard, and the fans are involved in this game.
And Damian Burrell gives him a pat on the head.
I didn't account for the extra defender on the sideline right there taking a ball out of the opposing team's hand. That's what you like.
Yeah, they love it. They call the snake pit the 9th man.
That's
they did have a 9th man on the field on that play.
There you go, and he's got a souvenir to take.
That's a big-time play there by the man in the front row at the 5-yard line. So there's 4 seconds left there. They're going to have to air it out this time. They go over the middle, and Gilson has it go through his hands incomplete, and that's how the first half will come to an end. After 2 quarters, the Arizona Rattlers take a 48-31 lead into the locker room, and they'll have the ball to start the second half. We'll take a break during halftime. We'll come back with some stats and storylines leading into the second half. That's Lincoln Kennedy. I'm Jared Cohen. You've been streaming AFL action on the Watch ESPN app. Last several seasons, -1 of Purify last year as he was in San Jose, but that's been the 3-headed monster for years now, and they continue to get it done along with Nick.
You're absolutely right, Jared, and we know we're doing a lot of these games. I've come to expect and appreciate what Nick Davila does on offense, the way he commands and leads this offense meticulously down the field. More importantly, as you mentioned, spreading around to all his receivers, getting everybody involved, getting everybody a touch. That's why I said, look, if you're Rod Windsor, Maurice Purify, sometimes, you might be old, you might be past your prime, if you will. You can still get it done in this offense because a quarterback like Nick Davila is going to find you.
Now, I think I want to single out Chase DeAtter first and foremost because this is a guy that has struggled to stay on the field injury-wise and health-wise, and he's really been able, knock on wood, been able to stay healthy this season, and we're seeing the fruits of that. We're seeing a guy that's really having one of his most productive seasons on both sides of the ball in a Rattlers uniform.
Might be some surprise to a lot of the young listeners at home. Once upon a time, this was known as pure Ironman football, especially in Arena League, where you had guys that were playing both ways. Now it happens still today. Chase DeAtter most of the year was playing wide receiver as well as jack linebacker.
Yes.
Trying to figure out a way to get him to be a part of this defense. But as you imagine, because you only have so many plays in your legs, there's only so often so much that you can do, especially when you talk to Ironman football. So, as you mentioned, Chase DeAtter's got to find a way to stay healthy, stay productive, more importantly, stay on the field. And that sometimes takes a lot of time to get used to.
And if we're talking about first half performances, we would be remiss if we didn't mention Anthony Amos, who 3 kickoff returns for 99 total yards, returning 1 for a touchdown, and also a couple big-time special teams tackles on kickoffs. You want to talk about Iron Man. that guy on special teams and also on offense has made an impact here today.
I saw one particular kickoff coverage play where he sacrificed his body and was still able to come up with the tackle. Very impressed with Amos tonight. He's playing well, and he's really giving the Rattlers a sound advantage on special teams.
Kick is away from Ernesto Lacayo, who had a tough first half. He missed all but one extra point. That one's high off the net, returned by Amos, who gets it across the 10-yard line before he's swarmed by a handful of Steel defenders. And it'll be 1st and 10 for Nick Davila and company, who have a chance to really make this, I don't want to say blow it open here early in the second half, but really make it a big uphill climb for the Steel here early in this second half.
Well, there's still a whole half to play, and we saw nothing more than the last minute of that second quarter. How many touchdowns can be scored in so little time?
There was 4 or 5 touchdowns in the last minute.
So if you're the offense of the Rattlers, the two things you want to do, move the ball forward, score, and also keep the clock moving. So I guess that's 3 things.
But who's counting?
Who's counting?
Rod Windsor runs a hitch route, gets you across to about the 21-yard line, short of a first down, but a nice, well-orchestrated pitch and catch from Davila to Windsor on the first play of the second half.
Yeah, and Windsor, what he did that time is because the defender, Arnes Eichner, from the Steel was closing pretty quickly. He positioned his body in between where the ball was going to be and, of course, the defender coming. So if he's going to make a play, he's got to come through the body, which would give a penalty. But that time the Windsor came up with the catch.
2 to the right, 1 to the left of Davila. It's Amos in high motion. They're looking his way. Post corner route. Almost had the touchdown. Went right through his fingertips. Wanted a flag. Didn't get it. And it'll be 3rd down and short for the Rattlers.
Well, again, you cannot fall asleep because there's way too much time to play. And that time, Deontay Salvage, the right guard, number 72, got beat around the corner by a very speedy defender in Davis Jr. And he's got to be careful because you don't want to give a hit to your quarterback. More importantly, you don't want to be lulled to sleep. The game is not well in hand. You have way too much time to play.
And this is just the second time a 3rd down play has happened in this game for the Rattlers, and they converted on a pitch to Chase DeAdder.
Simple play, a little bit of like an extended little toss run, if you will. High motion comes, scrambles sideways to the line, gets the pitch, got great blocking in front of him by Amos and Windsor, you see there in the replay, and also gets a little help from the big man getting downfield as well.
So it'll be 1st and 10 Rattlers. They're at the Steel 20-yard line. Trying to score here on this first possession of the second half. We've got 12:45 left here in the third quarter. Rattlers on top 48-31. That's Lincoln Kennedy. I'm Jared Cohen from Ak-Chin Indian Community Fields at Talking Stick Resort Arena. And how about the effort from Chase DeAdder? They throw a quick throw to the outside as he was in high motion, and he keeps those feet churning all the way down to the 5-yard line.
Well, you know one person on the Portland Steel that's mad at himself is Brandon Cisse, the defensive end. That ball was right over his outstretched arms. He had Nick Davila in the sights, put his hands up, but just mistimed the ball. It could have been either a turnover or a knockdown pass. Very frustrating when you're a defensive end trying to come off the ball and you see those quarterbacks throwing those quick passes.
1st and goal, Rattlers from the Steel 7-yard line with 12 minutes left here in the third quarter. Windsor will be the high motion man with trips to the right of Davila. He's back to throw. He's looking Windsor. Back corner to the end zone. Connects. Touchdown, Rattlers.
Makes it look too easy, doesn't it, my friend? I mean, you think about it, just the efficiency of this offense, with the chemistry that he has with his receivers, Windsor, Purified, Chase DeAdder. It's almost like taking candy from a baby. Really, if you're Eichner, what can you do as a defensive back? There's nothing that you can do.
There isn't, and it's been automatic, and that's 7 touchdowns in the last 2 games now for Rod Windsor as he catches that one, his 3rd of the game in the back corner, and now it's Alex Zendejas in for the extra point to make it 55-31 here early in the third quarter. Rattlers looking to put up a big number here tonight. The kick is through. 55-31, 11-10 left here in the third. You're streaming AFL football.
Official timeout brought to you by Dignity Health Foundation in the East Valley. All right, ninth man, it's time for the Marley's Wing Delivery. Please welcome the Rat Pack and Striker as they deliver a tasty treat that can't be beat. Delicious wings from Marley's. You are the winner of free dinner if you're seated in Section 114 row 16, seat number 1. Congratulations and enjoy your Marley's wings.
We've got 11:10 left here in the third quarter. The Rattlers strike again, 55-31 on a touchdown pass from Nick Davila to Rod Winter. Lincoln Kennedy, I'm Jared Cohen here from downtown Phoenix. Alex Dejas set to kick it away once again for the Rattlers. Back to receive is Christian Wise for the Portland Steel. And the kick is away. And it goes off a post. This is going to be a tough one to play for the Steel. Luckily for them, it goes into the stands. And Lincoln, I'm curious, does the ball go out? Is the ball spotted where it went out in this situation?
Yes, it's spotted where it went out in the situation, and it should be like the 4-yard line or 3-yard line, to say, right?
Yeah, it looks like they're going to spot him at the 5-yard line, just shy of the 5.
Okay.
Where Shane Austin and company will take over 1st and 10. And they went into that huddle early. I think they're looking to come out, move quickly, get this ball rolling. They rushed into that huddle before some of the Rattlers defense were even on the field yet.
Well, look to see if they still want to go after Kellum in the backfield. Again, he's just fresh off the couch. He's not in football shape. Look at the space he's given.
And they're going deep on the first play. It's a little underthrown, but complete to Jared Perry. And look, they're running down the field. It looks like Portland wants to really push the pace. There is a penalty
play in the end zone. If it's a penalty in the end zone, it might be a safety. I don't know where I saw the flags in the end zone, but I'm not sure where the hold took place.
Holding offense number 66 that occurred in the end zone. By AFL rule, that ball is placed on the 1-yard line, repeat first down.
I get mixed up sometimes with the big game. I forgot in AFL rules plus at the 1-yard line, it's not a safety. In the big game, it's a safety. Penalty in the end zone is a safety, but in the short game, it's placed at the 1-yard line.
And that could be a big penalty because I couldn't help but notice the pace and the way that the Steel were trying to set a tone here on this drive, and it was totally negated and slowed by that penalty.
Well, there's a sense of urgency by a young team that really wants to prove itself and prove itself capable. So that's what you see right there. You see this Steel team that's coming out with a sense of urgency saying that, hey, we know that we're down, we know that we're a struggling team, but daggone it, we're excited for the second half and excited for the chance to strike and go against a really good team and prove itself worthy.
Gain of 13 on first down from the 1 there to Jared Perry, so he gets that catch right back. That was called back from the holding call. Perry, the former Rattler, coming back to his old stomping grounds.
And Kellum with the speed on the opposing receivers has got to give a lot of space. So look for a lot of short routes to make an impact.
Austin's flushed out of the pocket. He's going to keep it himself. Has some room, and he can run it. Crosses midfield, crosses the 15, taken down by K.J. Morton, who looked to give him a little shoulder shiver right there. Austin pops right back up, but a big gain right there for the quarterback.
Well, it's not every day that you as a defender get a free shot in open field on the quarterback, so of course you want to make him pay. Every defender is taught that way, especially when the more rules in the games, in both games, the open field game as well as the arena game, are designated to protect this guy.
And as we look at the replay, Morton was ready to give him a blow, and Austin just ducked at the last moment. Smart move right there, and he's some wheels right there, Shane Austin, getting up the field, outrunning some of those Rattlers defenders. 9 minutes left here in the third quarter. Austin, three-step drop, almost picked off, and that would have been returned for 6 by K.J. Morton.
You know, like I said, that time Shane Austin did the cardinal sin with the quarterback. He stared down the receiver like he knew he was going to him as soon as he got the ball. And, of course, what a great jump on the ball by Morton that time.
And even Coach Guy put his face into his hands after that one. That would have been a touchdown for sure.
Without a doubt, and that's a gift that you can't necessarily look in the mouth if you're a defender in arena ball, because it doesn't happen all that often where you're able to take those like that.
And this is easily the most that we've called Morton's game name this season. He's really looked good here today. Austin was hit as he was thrown, and that was almost picked off by Kellum. Just a little out of the outstretched arms of Jeremy Kellum, and that makes it 3rd down and 10.
Well, now the rush is getting to Austin because he's trying to hold on the ball and really get the ball downfield, trying to make a play. Give some credit that time to Borrell coming around the end, and as you mentioned, got a hand on Austin as he was throwing that ball and threw his timing and his accuracy off.
Burrell's played a nice game here today. He's been active, especially with the injured Luis Vasquez. He's really stepped up coming around the edge. Austin throws, it's caught by Perry, nowhere to go, thrown to the ground by Arkeith Brown. And it's going to make up a 4th down situation for the Steel.
Yeah, as you watch a little extra talk going on, you know, right now the Steel's sense of urgency is starting to fade because they're not getting in the end zone. You got a little tempers flaring, if you will, but 4th down, they got to convert it or get a play in the end zone or a big play for the defense. Watch how the snake pit comes alive with the way this crowd noise gets behind this team now.
Yeah, it's getting loud here at downtown Phoenix. 4th down and 7 for Austin and the Steel. 5-step drop, throws to the end zone. Is it intercepted? No, it's incomplete. Arkeith Brown breaks up the pass. 3rd turnover on downs today for the Portland Storm. And the Rattlers offense will take over 1st and 10.
You know, Jared, that time Arkeith Brown played it as well as you could possibly play it. He followed the eyes of Austin, knew that he had to go at least the 1st down marker to get the 1st down marker. And you watch how he played through the defender. The ball came through and knocked it away last minute. Great play by Brown.
And he had an eye on the ball.
Absolutely.
Unlike in that end of the first half, Ickner for the Steel wasn't paying attention.
Was
just looking at Purify, and Purify was able to snatch it out the air, get that touchdown late in the half. We'll take a break. 7:04 left in the 3rd. Rattlers on offense. You're streaming AFL football.
$10 a game. For more information, visit any of the Arizona Rattler ticket tables located throughout the concourse. Arizona Rattlers football, strike as one. Ninth man, during every Rattlers home game, we honor those who serve and protect our great country with the Howard Air Seats for Soldiers program. Please join the Arizona Rattlers in welcoming Edward Miller, who served in the Army National Guard from 2001 to 2009. He completed 15 months on a combat zone deployment with the U.S. Army to Bosnia and served as a JAG captain while on deployment. We thank you for your service to our country and thank you for being with us tonight. Attendance 14,401 screaming Rattlers fans. Thank you for being with us tonight and proving once again you're the best fans in arena football.
Back here, Rattlers on offense, 1st and 10 for Nick Davila and company. 6:50 left here in the 3rd quarter, and on 1st down, a miscommunication right there between Davila and Purify. He kept running. Davila thought it was a hitch. Not sure who that's on. It might have been on Purify as Guy was pointing more in his direction after that play. It'll make it 2nd and 10.
Well, now their version of a hurry up. Look at this. You don't see this too often.
They want to run the same play right over again.
I'm hoping they get it right this time.
Davila back to throw. Pressure that time. Connects with Purify. He's down shy of the 20-yard line, and Davila got hit low.
Yeah, that's the problem, because now you're going to sit there and expose want to run the same play over again. You expose your quarterback to a rush, and as you watch, look at the top of Davis Jr. coming around low. Or no, it was Cisse, I should say. He came in low there. That's dangerous for your quarterback.
Very dangerous. Davila still able to get up and
shake it off. Legitimate tough guy.
Legitimate tough guy.
Legitimate tough guy. He's proven it time and time again. Look at him. He's a tough guy.
They gain 9 yards on that play. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Windsor in high motion, stays to the right, and there's going to be a false start right there.
Yeah, there's got to be a false start. I was thinking the same thing, my friend.
And it looks like it was
Savage?
Savage, yeah.
Snap, I'll start offense. Number 74, 5-yard penalty remains, 3rd down.
They're struggling with numbers today down there. It was 72. Savage called for the false start. That'll move him back 5 yards with 5:36 left. It'll be 3rd and 6.
Yeah.
In the 3rd quarter.
Again, you want to keep the clock moving, and you want to try to get positive yards. You don't want to keep going back and forth. And that, I think the offense has proven that they can score today, but it's going to be interesting to get this play off, because they're down to 9 seconds as they get to the line of
They're
scrimmage.
moving slow. They got down to 5 seconds now. They got to get Windsor in motion. 3 seconds. They just get it off. Back to throw is Davila on 3rd down. He's looking Windsor, and just incomplete. Well defended downfield by Boyle. Didn't look like Windsor knew where the ball was right away, and then he looked up. There it was. Boyle was there, though, to knock the ball away.
Well, Windsor didn't run a great route that time. He didn't create any separation from Boyle. Boyle was sitting on his shoulder, so there really wasn't a large window to throw it in. And Davila had to throw that ball towards Windsor before he came out of his break. So as you mentioned, trouble finding the ball, didn't get his head right around. That's what happens, a little bit of complacency, a little lackadaisical running around, not thinking you're the primary receiver. And it happens often in the game.
And an important down right here. This is the first 4th down attempt of the game for the Arizona Rattlers. They got 6 yards to go. Davila feeling pressure. Finds Maurice Purify across the 20 to about the 24-yard line for a Rattlers first down.
And Davis Jr., number 11 for the Steel, is still down. Wonder if he's hurt. Looks like he is. I'm not sure exactly what he did, because he came clean around the corner. Oh, I saw it on the replay right there. He took a knee to the chin as he was going down trying to make the play on Davila. Davila, smartly as a quarterback, scrambled up, pushed into the pocket where he had some room, just enough room to get that ball off. And let's hope that Davis is okay.
We'll check on him after a short break. 4:16 left here. 1st and 10 Rattlers, 55-31. You're streaming AFL football.
Injured player for Portland, number 11, Dexter Davis. All right, ninth man, it's time to get out of your seat and on your feet. It's time for the Buffalo Wild Wings Chicken Dance Cam. Don't be a chicken, do the chicken dance, and you could win a great prize pack from Buffalo Wild Wings. Congratulations, there's our winner. You've just won a great prize pack from Buffalo Wild Wings.
We've got 4:16 left. Dexter Davis able to walk off under his own power for the Portland Steel. And after that play, it's 1st and 10 Rattlers on the pitch and catch from Davila to Purify. Yet another one. Purify having one of his best games of the season. Back in a Rattlers uniform. They run a screen to Benson, and he's got a player draped all over him, and that's going to draw a flag.
It's called defensive holding. That's right. What did I do?
What did I do? What did I do?
defensive holding or pass interference because the ball is in the air. But Hayes is making the argument because Benson was in charge of blocking him that he's allowed to maintain contact on the line of scrimmage, but the ball's in the air and that negates that.
Holding, defense, number 99. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
I also saw Big Savage running down the field as a tight end eligible, trying to get open. And, of course, he was quickly picked up by the Jack linebacker.
Big 72?
Big number 72. You know, you don't have a lot of time if you're Davila. You got to get rid of the ball because you just lost a couple of blockers. But, you know, Savage has got to find a way to create separation and get open.
What is it? What's wrong with his route running? Come on. The Big Savage can't create some space?
Oh, he's got to use that big body. Yeah, that's what he's got to do.
Got to be able to cut on a dime if you're Savage. Windsor was in high motion. He's running a post corner. They throw it underneath to DeAtter, who's taken down at about the 8-yard line. Shy of a first down with 3:30 left here in the third and a 55-31 Rattlers lead.
I'm glad you're picking up the recognition of the post corner route. I like that.
Yep. Well, I have a good teacher.
Oh, you're growing. You're being able to see it. And that time it's a two-man combination between a post corner and a hitch. And the Davila took the safe one and going with the hitch. The thing is with the hitch route and the arena ball, you got to be timed correctly and get that ball out of your hands so the defender doesn't have a chance to jump on it.
Davila trips to the left, and that ball's batted down. Nice job right there from Cisse. It'll make it 2nd and 1.
Cisse missed one of those quick hitch routes, defended against it earlier in the game, and I know that he's remembered. That time, coming out of his stance, he saw Davila's eyes, the one step. Defenders are taught to get their hands up and make it difficult, and that's exactly what he did and knocked that ball down that time.
And I stand corrected, 3rd down now after that batted down ball. 3rd down and 1, Rattlers from the Steel 7-yard line, leading at 55-31. We've got 2.5 minutes left here in the third. And it's going to be 2 to the left, 1 to the right of Davila with Windsor in high motion. They hand it off to Benson. He has that yard and more. He's trying to truck his way into the end zone and does for 6. Michael Benson, his first touchdown of the game.
Now, I know we've been picking on number 13, Arnes Eichner, all night for some reason, for one reason or another. But 5'7", and I know he can't. You watch him try to get up under Big Benson, and that's just downright wrong. In every way you look at it, there's no way that Eichner is going to be able to stop that big man from trucking into the end zone.
All 6 foot, 275 out of Florida A&M. Michael Benson with the touchdown.
Jared, I'm here to tell you, if that man is 275, I'm 6'1".
You're not 6'1".
And he is not 275.
Yeah, you are not 6'1". Zendejas' kick is up and through. And with 1:37 left here in the third quarter, the Rattlers open up a 31-point lead, 62-31. You're streaming Arena League action.
Official timeout.
Down makes it 62-31 after Michael Benson gets in the end zone for the first time today. 1:37 left in the third quarter. That's Lincoln Kennedy. I'm Jared Cohen here from downtown Phoenix. And the Rattlers offense has been special to watch here today, Link.
That's without a doubt. They seem to have everything clicking in the right direction. Only a few little miscues and mistimings, but if you watch, Nick Davila is as effective as ever. And Coach Guy, how about his offensive game plan calling? Really mixing it up and keeping the Portland Steel defense on their heels.
They really have done little wrong. They have really moved it well. As mentioned on that last drive, that was the first time they had to convert a 4th down conversion. Going into that drive, they had only been on 3rd down 2 times the whole game. They've really been a well-oiled machine as Zendejas kicks it away. and it goes through the uprights for a touchback. Shane Austin taking over on offense for the Portland Steel, down by 31 points. Austin is 16 of 31 for 225 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Well, you notice this time in the way they position themselves in the offensive huddle, there's not that sense of urgency we saw immediately in the second half. It's starting to fade because they know they've got a real big uphill battle to face right now.
Back to throw is Austin, and miscommunication maybe. That was kind of weird how that play started, but he still threw that ball to Gilson, which was over his head, incomplete.
Well, at this particular point, you're going to have receivers with fatigue set in, and they're not going to be as crisp as you were at the start of the game. But it looked like Gilson was going to run a post-option corner and just didn't know where to go. And Shane Austin, without rather letting the receiver or the route develop, decided to throw it early.
And it went over his head for
exactly.
Make it 2nd and 10 for the Steel. Austin's going to throw a screen out to Gilson. He's going to run up the sidelines and gain some solid yards there on 2nd down. Gain of about 6 or 7 on that play with 30 seconds left in the quarter.
Not a bad way just to keep the defense honest. Quick screen. See what the Rattler defense will come up with, and force a sense of urgency. Maybe you get a missed tackle. Who knows? It'd be an easy way to get a quick 6.
3rd down and 2. This will be the last play of the 3rd quarter, most likely. Austin will have 2 to the left, 1 to the right. High motion man is Gilson. Throw quick to Howard, and there's KJ Morton smothered all over him like he has all game long to end the 3rd quarter. We'll head to the 4th. Rattlers in control. They lead the Portland Steel 62-31. 4th and final period coming up.
Portland 31.
Yeah, I like this right here.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the field the AFL's hottest dancers, the Arizona Rattlers Sidewinders. The Arizona Rattlers Sidewinders, presented by Tan United, Par Excellence Salon, and EOS Fitness.
Start of the 4th and final period here from the Talking Stick Resort Arena in downtown Phoenix. The Arizona Rattlers on top of the Portland Steel 62-31 after 3. And one of the best quarters we've seen out of the Rattlers in quite some time. That was done on all phases of the game. And they opened up a 31-point lead as we here start the 4th quarter.
Well said, and at the start of the 4th quarter, you start with the defense on the 4th and 1. Watch the snake or listen to the snake pit come alive with this crowd getting behind the team, definitely rallying. We'll see if this defense is able to come up with another stop, a turnover on downs.
And what else can you say about KJ Morton this game? He made the big tackle at the end of that quarter, smothering Howard. He has been everywhere and making great plays. This is one of those rookies that we talked about at the beginning of the season. Had kind of a learning curve that he had to deal with coming out of Baylor, but man, as we're about halfway through the season, he's looking extremely confident.
Jared, he's shown great awareness tonight, as well as watching Shane Austin's the quarterback's eyes, knowing and playing his position, especially shallow linebacker. I mean, it was effectively a linebacker.
There's a quick throw out to Howard. It's overthrown, intended for Arkeith Brown. And that's going to make it, that's a turnover on downs. That was 4th and 1.
Yes, it is, my friend. That time, great awareness by the Rattler defense, coming in and noticing that they're going to run a scissor route where the receivers cross, and both KJ Morton and that team, Arkeith Brown, playing Howard very tight, not giving him enough room to catch that ball. Maybe a little early, but it's up to interpretation. The referees didn't call it.
And it'll be 1st and 10, Rattlers in Steel territory at their 14-yard line to try to push into the 70s.
Well, now watch the body language of the Portland Steel. We'll see if this defense comes out with any resolve and tries to hang in there and make it hard. But until this point, Arizona's had their way.
Davila throws over the middle to Purify, and if he hadn't been tripped up at the last moment there, that might have been 6. Said he's down at the 6, and it'll make it 2nd down.
I like the two-route combination with the high motion coming out and dragging towards the sideline. Gives you a little bit more area to play with and double post moves, and that's what you saw that time out of the Rattlers.
8th catch of the night for Maurice Purify. One of his best games since coming back to the Rattlers this season.
Let's see if Big Benson gets the ball again here.
We got trips. Davila will throw to the outside. It's Purify again. They want to get him 6. He dives forward.
He lost the ball in the end
zone. He lost
zone.
the ball, and there hasn't been a whistle blown, and that's been running the other way. Is Dexter Davis Jr., and they're going to call it a touchdown for the Portland Steel.
Right now you see the referees trying to huddle together and see if he crossed the plane or broke the plane. It'll be interesting to see here.
Very quick replay.
Yeah, you see the crowd doesn't like it. If that ball comes out, I don't know. I think that ball was across the plane.
It looks like it crossed the plane.
Difficult angle. If anything, Coach Guy is going to challenge without a doubt.
And that's what he's done. That red flag is already out. The ruling on the field is a fumble recovery and touchdown for Dexter Davis Jr. and the Portland Steel.
Now, was I giving praise to Purify earlier with securing the ball? That time he was a little too careless with the ball.
Yep.
I understand what he was trying to do. He was trying to stretch the ball and get it across the plane for the touchdown, but you got to realize that you're still around a lot of traffic.
Was down by contact at the 1-yard line.
Wow.
I didn't hear
They didn't have a whistle. They didn't have a whistle. So here's the thing. We saw Coach Guy come out with a quick whistle and challenge, and I want to see whether head coach Ron James comes out with his red flag and challenges that call. He lost a challenge early, and we'll see if that's the case. They're whistling it dead.
Can you challenge that, though, if the ruling on the field is a –
Well, I mean, that's an interesting way. I don't know. In the big game, I thought everything is up to interpretation. They could challenge the ruling. But here comes Coach Ron James, head coach of Portland Steel. He threw out his red flag. He's going to challenge, and the head referee is going to explain whether or not you can challenge that.
He hands it right back to him. We'll go down to the field. On the field and down by contact is being challenged by Portland. The plays under further review.
So I guess you can challenge.
So there is your answer.
There's your answer.
Now the thing I find interesting is that it's either a touchdown or a fumble based on where the ball was when it looked like he was down.
As you mentioned, you talked about it earlier. The fact is that we only have you didn't have a whistle for one. So, and even when they got together, I don't think they came up with that first. So, it's an odd call. It really is. But we'll see here from the replay, looking at the angle, seeing what they see at home. Is his knee down right now? Is that what they're going off of right there? But if that's the case, that's still on the 2-yard line. So, interesting call.
So the officials are looking at this replay. This will probably be the best view, but
see, I don't know where they're saying he's down on the 1 because either it's a touchdown or a fumble, as you mentioned.
Now
Jared.
here can Portland challenge a play and then be like, oh, that's a touchdown. The ruling on the field is a touchdown. They can't do that, right?
No, they can't do that. They can only challenge either the spot of the foul. The referees are going to say, well, he wasn't down by contact. Or it's an interesting point now I think about what you just said. If it comes back that he crossed the plane and they saw it, do they rule the touchdown?
Yeah. We'll go down to the field.
Ruling on the field if down by contact stands. Portland is charged with a timeout and their second challenge.
I guess by the clarity of the rule, it's either you're going to overturn whether or not he was down by contact or it stand, and they didn't have enough information to overturn it. So play stands.
So the easy way out is to just put him at the 1 yard line.
Exactly.
First and goal.
Easy for the Rattlers, bad if it's Portland. We wanted the turnover.
Could have been their first break. They run the ball to Benson.
Now they notice Benson crawling across the goal line. He's hard to miss. As you mentioned, 270.
Yeah. Hard to miss 275. No gain is given to Benson on that play to make it second and goal from the 1 with just over 13 minutes left in this game. 62-61 is the score. We give it back to Benson.
Come back and go to him again. I would. They're
Let him
pressed
eat.
up top, so either that or a quick out.
They handed him off to him again. He spins around. Does he get his way in? No, he's short. Good defense for Portland.
You notice who wasn't in the fray, right? As we talked about his name a number of times. Eichner was not in the frame. He was steering clear of Benson. Leave it up to the bigger guys to find a way to bring that big boy down.
Instead, defensive end Reggie Wilson wraps him up and refuses to let him cross the goal line. Third down and goal. Third time's the charm?
Well, no, you don't come back to it a third time. I think in this instance what I would do is I would do a quick pitch out to one of the receivers, and it looks like they're probably going to do a hitch.
Go Amos in high motion. There it is, and he's short.
He's short. Indeed, he's short.
Purified.
Great awareness by Portland still playing defense on it. They knew it was coming.
Purify didn't pick up that block.
Well, it's difficult to pick up a block, especially when you got a high motion and the guys are adjusting. The defenders are adjusting in front of you whether or not they're going to bump your player.
You notice Kevin Guy isn't in the game calling plays right now.
I did notice that. Well, it's a chance to get your younger staff. Take a break, Coach Guy. You've earned it. Take a break. Explore your red zone offense.
Fourth down and goal from the 2.
Coach Burley seems to have got it. He's trying to find a way to get it in. They got to hurry up. They got 6 seconds before the clock can delay a game.
Davila to throw. He's going to try to air it up, and it's almost intercepted by your boy.
Well, that time, little Eigner played a lot better than 5-7. That time he got up in the air and almost came over the interception.
A nice play right there. The first time the Rattlers have turned the ball over on downs in this game with 11:21 left, and we'll take a timeout. 62-31, Steele go back on offense. That's Lincoln. I'm Jared. You're streaming AFL football.
And it's time for tonight's Casino Arizona Throw for the Dough contest. Please welcome tonight's contestant, Cruz. 4 different locations on the field you can throw from, Cruz, each representing a different cash value ranging from $100 to $7,777. Throw a football from one of those locations and hit the Casino Arizona target in the north end zone, and you win that cash. All right, Cruz, where are you going to throw from? All right, Cruz going to move up to the north end 10-yard line for $100 in dough. Let's make some noise. Give him some encouragement. Oh, Cruz. Nice attempt. Even though you didn't win the big money, we do have a pair of tickets for Friday's Rattlers game for you, and thanks for playing Casino Arizona's Throw for the Dough contest.
11:21 left here in the fourth quarter. Lincoln Kennedy and Jared Cohen from downtown Phoenix. Portland Steel's defense get a stop. Turnover on down for the Rattlers, their first of the game. First turnover of the game for the Rattlers. Instead, it's 1st and 10 Steel from their own 2-yard line.
And take a look, Coach Ewert, the defensive coordinator, is out on the field. Coach Guy is on the sideline, giving his voice a little rest. Let his coaches, assistant coaches, do the job, calling the plays and calling the offense and defense.
I like that Coach Guy's giving them that opportunity,
Absolutely.
giving those reps. Never know when they're going to be needed in a pinch in that situation to make some play calls. So that's
never know when they might have a head coaching opportunity again.
Absolutely.
Ewert has already been a head coach.
So on 1st and 10, Austin's going to air it out. Jared Perry is there and makes the catch, and down inside the 5-yard line, the former Rattler making a big play.
Again with Kellum, still trying to get into football shape. He has to give that room. You're depending on the rush if you're Jeremy Kellum to get and make a difference. And that time, Austin had plenty of time to sit back there.
Great throw.
Exactly. What's the most difficult route to cover in arena football?
The post corner route.
That's exactly what you saw right there, my friend.
And it takes them all the way down to the 4-yard line. First and goal for the Steel. 10.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Steel, long way to go, down by 31, but every touchdown helps. They got the stop. They want to turn it into 6. Austin's going to step up. He's going to try to run it in himself, and he's in for the touchdown. He took a shot.
Yes, he did.
As he was moving forward, but pops right up and runs for the 4-yard touchdown to make it 62-37.
Well, the never say die attitude out of the Portland Steel is resonating right there through their quarterback. Sees the opening rather than try to force the ball in a bad position. As you mentioned, taking a shot, getting in the end zone, but getting the touchdown.
And he had Tyree Glasper right in front of him. Glasper, one of the top Mike linebackers in Arena League football.
Yep.
And he shook him and got himself in for a touchdown.
And now they're trying to wake up this crowd because they're going for 2 here. Naturally, being down by 31 before this touchdown, go for 2 to try to cut in a little bit more in this lead.
High motion man is Gilson. Austin to throw, looking Gilson. Broken up, nice play right there from Jeremy Kellum. And conversions have been the biggest issue for the Steel in this game. They have left at least 5 points on the board because of it.
At least, you're right. And that time Kellum played well. Played the man, played well, played in the short space. It seems that he still has that savvy about him. Of course, Portland still calling for a flag right there, but no, refs are letting him play.
6:29 left. Rattlers go back on offense. You're streaming AFL football.
Hey, ninth man. Time to announce the winning numbers in the 50-50 raffle. Good luck.
All right, it's time to give away some money with tonight's 50-50 raffle. You're the winner of $2,220 if you have ticket number Q59037. To claim your prize, please report now to the guest relations desk outside section 117.
Here in the fourth and final period, the Steel get a touchdown, a rushing touchdown from quarterback Shane Austin to cut into this Rattlers lead, 62-37. Jared Cohen and Lincoln Kennedy, and we've seen a lot of onside kicks in this game. Are we going to see another one this early with 6
No, I don't think you see one this early. I still think you have to play the percentage and try to play defense. Yeah, I was wrong.
There's an onside kick. Purify bats it again. Did he do it forward again, though?
I think it went forward again because you look at the.
And there's the flag.
You'll take it. You'll take it because you still get possession of the ball. But the idea is to try to bet either sideways or backwards.
Someone's got to tell him to twist his body a little bit if he's going to pelt it into the crowd.
The sense of urgency by receivers in that situation, because you can just imagine how many guys are coming down on you. If the guys in the front wall don't get blocked, there's a free guy who's got a shot while you're looking at the ball, aiming right for your body to go through you.
Yeah.
So the sense of urgency is usually there for the ball just to get out of bounds as quickly as possible. That's what Pure
You got people running at you,
Without
looking to
a
take
doubt.
your head off.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
A lot easier said than done from up here.
Very
Illegal
true.
batting on the kicking team. The ball was batted forward. 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
So 1st and 10, Rattlers from the Steel 16-yard line. They turned it over on downs last time out.
Well, again, Coach Guy is letting his staff. Offensive coordinator Burley is out there. Coach Burley is out there to try to get this Rattler offense and scoring.
They're going to pitch it out to Windsor. He bobbles it around, but still holds on to it.
Windsor on the carry.
That ball was bobbling around for about 2-3 yards before he finally hauled it in and gained about 5 on the play.
You tell Rod Windsor you only get credit for 1 catch.
Yes,
so
right. He had about
don't
3.
bobble it around. It's not going to give you 3 catches on your stat. You're not trying to pad your stats here.
But some positive yardage nonetheless. Gain
Certainly.
of 5, 8:48 left.
And the clock is still moving.
It'll be 2 to the left, 1 to the right, and they'll have Purify in high motion to make it trips to the left of Davila, who's looking Purify at the pylon for a touchdown. There's a flag down.
Complete. Memorious Purify, penalty marker down.
Let's see if they call illegal defense on the Jack Backer.
We'll go down to the field.
Illegal defense, number 23. Rushing outside the A gap. That penalty's declined, the touchdown.
They didn't even cut the guy off. Let him finish his save.
Well, the good part is that it's on the defense and we score. Touchdown.
Touchdown Rattlers.
Fire the cannon.
Maurice Purify, touchdown number 4 in this game.
Like I said, at that time it's a little too easy.
No, excuse me, that was touchdown number 3.
Oh.
Because Purify didn't get in on that play, the outstretch, the weird one from a couple possessions ago.
God, I'm glad that you remember that.
The hat trick instead for Maurice Purify to make it 68-37, and Alex Zendejas comes in for the extra point.
Still a pretty good night, right?
I'd say so. 10 catches, 138 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Mo Purify, and the extra point is good. 7:54 left, 69-37 Rattlers. You're streaming AFL football.
Official time.
It's time to pump things up with the fist pump cam.
Here we go, ninth man. You know what time it is. Fist pump camp. Nice job tonight, ninth man, in the fist pump camp.
Hey, ninth man, time for you to rise for your Rattlers.
You don't need to.
7:54 left, 69-37. Rattlers on top of the Portland Steel. Rattlers in the driver's seat to go 8-3 on the season, to stay 1 game behind the best record in the AFL, which belongs to the Philadelphia Soul, who the Rattlers just so happen to be playing next week here from the Snake Pit. That'll be a great one on the 17th. It's a Friday night game, Link.
Yeah, big test for the Rattlers coming up against the Soul, one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference, or American Conference, I should say. And it'll be interesting, a nice test and a nice warm-up tonight against the Steel to see how they finish the game.
And the kick goes out of bounds for Zendejas. It'll be a touchback. And it'll be 1st and 10 for Shane Austin in the Steel.
A little bit more zip in the offensive of the Steel coming out on the field. You know, it's an uphill battle, but they want to show that they're not going to give up.
Steel return home for 4 consecutive games after this one. They'll play Cleveland on the 18th, followed by Philadelphia, Orlando, and Jacksonville. So a lot of them American division opponents upcoming, all at home. Try to add some wins in the win column. They fought here for about a half. That ball overthrown, intended for Gilson. But the Rattlers just had too much going offensively, especially in that first half, to create separation. And the Steel just had to go toe-to-toe and answer every time.
Well, Jared, this is where expertise comes in. On that last play, Marquise Floyd, who is playing the Jack Backer, played in shallow coverage and ran to the sideline to take away the shallow routes away. And Austin had to pull back and look for something else. By that time, I think for the most part, his receivers had thought that they were probably out of play or weren't the primary and didn't really necessarily look for the ball.
It'll be trips for Austin. And it looked like they had a player move early.
Leonardo Bates was a little premature. Tried to get a start. You can't, the big man, if you're in the trenches, you can't go in motion. You can't start early.
Yeah, that's not allowed, Lincoln.
That's not allowed. That, my friend, is against the rules. But he showed great form. He showed great form. He popped up. His hands were in a defending position. You know,
tipping the spear, Lincoln?
Absolutely.
Tipping the spear?
That's exactly what it is, my friend.
Austin back to throw. He's going to swing it out to Perry. He's going to try to beat Morton on his feet, and he does. Gets past Glasper, too. Finally driven down by the jersey by Jeremy Kellum.
Yeah, he beat Morton. He beat everybody.
Excuse me, that was Arkeith Brown who drove him down.
Yeah, he was one play, one tackle away from scoring right there.
The former Rattler showing off some dance moves and some speed to get almost to midfield and a first down for the Steel.
My friend, in any sport, you can't teach speed, and that right there with Perry getting that little hitch route and making the rest with his legs is very impressive.
They're at their own 23-yard line, 1st and 10, just under 6 minutes left. 69-37 Rattlers on top of the Steel. Shaw was the man in high motion. Austin looking to the center of the field for Gilson, a little bit overthrown and behind him. And it'll be second down. And I can't tell you how many times that the yellow shoes of Leonardo Bates have made me feel like there was a flag down on the play in this game. I'm finally admitting it here in the fourth quarter that I have flinched at least 2 or 3 times.
Well, when they're that big, they look like flags. There's no doubt about it.
Big yellow shoes. It looks like there's a flag down on the play. You can see him there lined up at right tackle.
Well, how about big Kevin Myers is playing behind him in the purple shoes? How about that?
Those are nice. There's a quick throw to Perry. They're going to let him try to run it out in space. Nice job by Jeremy Kellum knocking down his former teammate. But another first down for the Steel.
And that time Kellum played it as well as you could play when you're playing a safety and arena ball. The fact is you don't let the guy get past you. You keep in front of you. Make the tackle when you have the opportunity. But more importantly, don't let it get away so you can wait for your help to arrive.
So that'll put the Steel at the Rattlers 12-yard line, 1st and 10, 4:35 left. It was a gain of 15 on the play there. Gilson in high motion with Perry alongside him on the right. Austin looking end zone, and it's Gilson there in the back of the end zone for the touchdown. Touchdown number 4 in the game for Tom Gilson.
You know, that time you're playing that cat coverage. You cover that cat, you cover that cat. And Gilson had a great catch at the back of the end zone.
And that was a laser beam. You know, we're used to the Latin laser throwing balls like that. But how about Shane Austin throwing a dart to Gilson for the Steel touchdown, and they're going to go for 2.
More importantly, he threw it low and away, so it kept it from the off-street Morton. Couldn't get in there and make a play on that football.
Gilson, the 6', 200-pound receiver from UMass. Had a big day, having a big day today. 4 touchdowns, 8 catches. Going to air it out. That's Austin, and that goes over the head and out of play. Intended that one for Howard. They tried to get a jump ball situation, but no chance for Howard to make the play. And a misconversion there. 3:36 left, 69-43. Rattlers on top of the Steel. You're streaming AFL football.
Waste time with a masterpiece. You should be
We got 3:36 left here from downtown Phoenix. 69-43, Rattlers on top of the Steel. And did you know, Lincoln, with 3:36 left, Nick Davila, if things remain the same, will have gone 2 full seasons playing the in-division Portland Steel and has not thrown an interception against them at home.
Well, good for the Rattlers, but bad for the Steel because you got to find a way to turn things around. But as I said earlier, you know, the Steel, much to their chagrin, they're playing like a 1-8 team. They've got some talent. They still got a long way to go. And I was expecting a little bit more of a fight out of this defense, especially statistically ranked where they are in the pass defense and the total defense. But for the most part, the Arizona Rattler offense has made it look really easy tonight.
And there's another onside kick, and not batted out of bounds this time, just recovered.
Well, that time because he was in the middle of the field, Jerry.
In the middle of the field.
Purify didn't bat it out of bounds because it's a long way to play volleyball now.
It sure is. But getting back to Nick Davila for a minute, who will be done for the day. Shane Boyd is going to check in for the first time. Davila now 8 games in his career against the Portland Steel. 61 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. After his 8 touchdowns today.
And look for Boyd to come in and do some, not necessarily do anything, you know, spectacular. This right here I expect to be a toss or a quick run.
But get some reps throwing the football.
Absolutely.
They fake the toss. They throw it to Windsor on a screen. He's got some room ahead of him, and a big-time touchdown-saving tackle right there from 20, Bryce Pila.
Keith Williams, center, is slow to get up that time. He's got to don't want to get anybody injured right here. I mean, offensive guard. He don't want to get anybody injured there. I thought it was going to be a toss. It was a fake toss. So good way to have a keen eye, my friend.
They heard you and
that
were toying
impressive.
with you.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
They were like, he's been calling our plays the whole night. How about we fake him out? Fake the toss.
Get
throw
him out
the
of
ball.
our huddle.
Break that crystal ball he clearly has. Trips to the right for Boyd. He throws it out to Purify. Went right through his hands.
You talk about a dart. Did you see the way that ball came out, Jerry?
That ball was fired. The pride of Fort Huachuca.
Yes.
Shane Boyd. He threw a fastball right there at Purify that went right through his hands.
Even Purify can hold on to that one. That hot potato right there.
So that'll make it 3rd and 2 with 2 minutes left in this game. 69-43, Rattlers on top of the Steel. Windsor, they're going to pitch it out to him, and he misplays that one, and that was a forward pass, so it's incomplete.
Well, they're lucky it was a forward pass because he wasn't probably intended as it be. But, again, Windsor only gets, you know, like early, you only get credit for one catch. You can't bobble that. Pull that in.
He makes catches look so easy. It's been the short pitches that he has had trouble with.
I don't
Try
know
to
what to do
solve
with
that
this.
riddle.
Exactly right.
As the color analyst, please explain to me what is different about a pitch and a long deep throw that Windsor normally makes so easy.
To explain or try to explain the analogy, I think of it as a basketball player like Andre Drummond from the Detroit Pistons.
It's true.
He can't make anything from 15 to 20 feet outside, but he can shoot 3-pointers and half-court shots like 1/3 of 1/4%. 25 or 40%.
That's a great analogy. Boyd is going to throw, and DeAtter was tripped up as it was going to the end zone, and the flag comes out.
That, my friend, is what you call home field advantage because I thought it was just incidental contact.
That's for sure what it looks like. It looks like their feet got tangled up. And
exactly.
DeAtter hit the deck.
Yeah.
Pass interference defense, number 21. Penalties after this to the goal, automatic first down.
So an automatic first down and a half the distance to the goal.
Bailed out by a penalty right there. You know, hey, you're Portland when it rains, it pours.
On a 4th and 2.
Three timeouts remaining. Portland has 2 timeouts remaining.
And a timeout is called. We'll take a break. 1 minute left, 69-43. We'll close this thing out after a short break. Minute left here in downtown Phoenix. The Arizona Rattlers on top of the Portland Steel, 69-43, and they'll have it 1st and goal from the 6-yard line after a 4th down attempt that drew a pass interference penalty, an automatic first and goal Rattlers.
Okay, Coach. Jared, you're going to play Coach Burley's position. What would you call in this position? Now, you've been watching enough of these games.
I want to dial up the big man. Let's swing it out. They're probably going to run the ball here.
Well, definitely.
Yep, they did. And a touchdown for Michael Benson.
Again.
His second of the game.
I'm glad that you were able to pick up the fact that they brought in an extra lineman.
I did right at the last moment. Right at the last moment, I saw the extra blocker, and I was thinking, oh, they're going to run it. I thought maybe they'd dial up a tight end or something, and then I was like, I'm not even going to say that out loud. There's an extra blocker. They're going to run it. There it is, Michael Benson, touchdown. With 55 seconds left, his second of the game to make it 75-43.
And much to the chagrin of the Portland Steel defenders, especially the defensive back, they see big Michael Benson coming at them. They don't want to tackle him again.
And his 275 pounds, right?
Yeah. I'm going to let that one slide.
Alex Zendejas in for yet another extra point. The snap is down, the kick is through. He's made all but one, and there's been a lot of them. 76 points here tonight for the Arizona Rattlers to the Steel's 43. We've got 55 seconds left. Lincoln, I'd like your overall takeaways from this game. You know, the last time you and I called the game together, it was the Rattlers and the Kiss. The Kiss gave them a lot to handle. There were shaky things we saw out of the Rattlers in that game. They have lost 3 of their last 5 coming in tonight. But this team looked like they were on a mission. It could have easily been a trap game knowing who they have on a short week next week in Philadelphia coming to town.
Well, for most of the game, the offense made it look easy, so that's clicking. That's one of the big positives for this Arizona Rattler team. And, of course, Amos came through with the special teams play. That's another positive for the team. But we know the coach guy, we've watched this team all season. Where they're struggling a little bit on defense. They're struggling with their coverage packages. And that's why he went and got Jeremy Kellum off the couch and said, look, I need you, and need you back in there. Now they've got to not only get Jeremy Kellum into football shape, but they've got to find a way to shut opposing defenses down. Now, you look at the record of the team they're facing. You can only take this so much. A win is a win. You'll take it as a coach. But more importantly, Jared, what you have to put in perspective, don't get big-headed because you beat a 1-8 team, it's going to be 1-9. This is a one-win team, and they played like that. You're a much better team. If you have aspirations of being a championship caliber team, the Arizona Rattlers, you got to play better than that because you're going to be going up against some good teams when it comes time for the playoffs.
And they've held that 1-8 team, soon to be 1-9 team, to just 12 points in the second half. That defense really keeping the foot on the pedal in this second half. Wise plays it off the nets. He's got a head of steam as he crosses the 20-yard line, and he's taken down by Leon Mackey. How about the steal? This team has clearly improved since what we saw in April. They still got a little ways to go. They are going to make the playoffs. Every team's making the playoffs.
Every team's making the playoffs,
What about this team do you find that could maybe be a spoiler in the playoffs? What do they do to where they're improving and they're doing so in the right ways?
You know, first of all, the fact is you got to have a quarterback to play, and I think they got a quarterback in Shane Austin. But more importantly, they've got the playmakers and wide receivers, you know, that are coming together. Gilson had a big game. Jared Perry still has excellent speed, especially in the open field. They got to fine-tune. I think they just need a little bit more variations in their offense. And Austin has to be extremely careful because he does have a tendency of staring down his receivers. Now, you understand why Kellum has to play in shape. They're picking on Kellum because they know he just came off the couch. And they know that he's probably not in football shape. And Kellum has to respect the speed of the opposing receivers, so he has to play back. So that's an easy pitch and catch. But as he gets more and more into it and gets a little bit more reps under his belts, he's going to be that fierce competitor that we know him to be. But to answer your first point, you know, they've had a few untimely miscues. It's still a team that's trying to find itself, in my opinion.
It's going to be a free play here. They're going to air it out to Perry. Tyree Glasper, I believe, was the one that moved earlier, or was it Leon Mackey? I think it might have been.
Yeah. Defensive encroachment, I'm not exactly sure what's on.
Gilson on that play prior had his 9th catch, by the way.
5-yard penalty. Arizona's in the bonuses, committed 3 minor fouls. That also creates an automatic first down.
There's the bonus.
There it is.
Bonus that we learned a lot about last time out.
That's right.
And it's on Leon Mackey. The first 2 were pretty early on. I think that was their first of the second half.
Yeah, it's been a pretty clean game other than that, yes.
So it'll make it 1st and goal. 42 seconds left. Austin, he'll step to his right. Going to air it out. Caught by Perry in the back of the end zone for a steal touchdown.
Again, Kellum still trying to play in shape. You see him heavy breathing. Of course, Perry coming up big. And that's some of the bright spots that you can take. Austin showed, you know, great awareness. breaking out of the pocket, extending the play, and finding Perry on the run, which was a good play by that young quarterback.
7th catch of the game for Jared Perry, 122 yards, and now his first touchdown of the game. And 351 yards passing for Shane Austin. Really, you have to be impressed with what you saw out of him today. I mean, this is a team that has a lot of growing to do, and Austin is a part of that, but he's really looked good here today.
You mentioned at the top of the broadcast, this is a team that's statistically playing a little bit better, but unfortunately, they're still a 1-9 team.
They got to get conversions figured out, though. They have only converted one all game. Jeremy Kellum knocks that one away. 2-point conversion attempt, no good. 76-49 is the score with 36 seconds left.
Portland 49.
Well, you know what? Looking at that last conversion attempt, you know, it's pretty predictable. They're going to try to run scissor routes. They're going to try to run, try to deflect, if you will, the man off the opposing guys, the receivers. And, of course, what the Arizona Rattler defensive backs have done well is they've stuck on the receiver with that tight zone, that tight window, haven't given Shane Austin a big window to throw in.
We'll take a break. 36 seconds left. 76-49. We've got 36 seconds left, 76-49. The Rattlers in control, about to get their 8th win of the season. And again, a special Friday night edition, Friday Night Lights here in downtown Phoenix. As the Rattlers will take on the Philadelphia Soul, 7 o'clock kickoff. That game will be on ESPN2. That should be a good one.
Should be a good one. The Rattlers want to have a short week, so they got a lot of work to do.
Then they'll go back out on the road to face the LA Kiss before a bye week. That played off the net for Amos. And he's had a nice game returning balls. He's making this one interesting. Gets to about the 15-yard line, but he's had a really nice game. This is as good as a game. We've talked about KJ Morton a lot. Anthony Amos, another one of the newcomers to the team this season, has really had arguably one of his best games as a Rattler.
I will attest to that, my friend, because as much as we've watched him and as much as we watch his Arizona Rattler teams, the special teams really made a difference in tonight's game, and they showed up and they were standing out. Not on the result, recovering the onside kicks, of course, what Purify was doing, knocking them out and stuff like that, but Anthony Amos with those big returns, and especially that return for a touchdown earlier in the game.
Shane Boyd in, most likely going to do the old fall forward for a few yards to run the clock out. Michael Benson pounds his way forward for a few yards.
What's even better than falling forward? Give it to Big Benson.
And that's going to allow the Rattlers to run out the clock to close this one out. They moved to 8-3. Portland Steel moved to 1-9. A great effort from the Rattlers today in all three phases. Gotta like that if you're head coach Kevin Guy, heading into a big and short week like Lincoln just mentioned against the Philadelphia Soul coming up this Friday. Wait for it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Final score, Rattlers win it 76-49 over the Portland Steel. They sweep the 3 games against the Steel this season. This, believe it or not, the closest of the 3. The Rattlers win it 76-49. And they get to stay home for 2 consecutive weeks for the first time all season, Lincoln.
Well, they're going to have to lick their wounds and try to find a way to get better. As you mentioned, everybody's going to be a part of the playoffs. So at this particular point, I guess you can say it's the halfway mark of the season and a little bit more. You want to try to get some offensive consistency, some consistency in defense. Statistically, coming into the game, I expected this defense to play a lot better than they did tonight. But it's either one of the two things that, Portland still got a long way to go, which I do think is true. And I think the Arizona Rattlers are just that much better of a football team.
We'll go down to the field here in a minute to talk to Coach Kevin Guy. In the meantime, some stats. First from the Portland Steel. 351 yards passing, 7 touchdowns for Shane Austin, leading the way receiving, 9 catches for 174 yards and 4 touchdowns for Tom Gilson. He was a monster today. Jared Perry, the former Rattler, 7 catches, 122 yards and a touchdown. And Jamar Howard, contributed as well. 6 catches, 37 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Let's go down to the field. Public address announcer Vince Marotta is joined by the head coach of the Rattlers, Kevin Guy.
Here with Kevin Guy, the head coach of the victorious Arizona Rattlers. Coach, it's been a long time on the road. Good to be home, isn't it?
It is. Love playing in front of our fans here. Great home field advantage for us. We got a big one next week now. We need to all show up. It's going to be cranking in here next week.
Offense was clicking tonight. You guys only got stopped one time all night. Can you comment on the offense's performance this evening?
I thought we were clicking all night, you know. So you guys did a good job of being efficient defensively. I'd like to see us tighten some things up, but we'll be ready to go next week.
All right, Coach. We'll see you here Friday night against Philly. Head coach Kevin Guy of the Arizona Rattlers.
So there's Kevin Guy really quickly before